What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mighty Guru podcast. I'm your boy, Mighty MI. I got my man, MMA Guru here.
What's up, guys? I'm also here on the Mighty Guru Show because it's both of us doing this, obviously. And today we're going to be talking all things the disaster of UFC 321. I mean, it couldn't get much worse than that for the main event. Gane using Tom Aspinall's face as a bowling ball. But that's not the only thing we're going to be breaking down. Umar Nurmagomedov faced resistance. Alexander Volkov jails in Almeida. What in the decision? I think it was right. DJ thinks it was wrong, which is very interesting. So we're going to be going over that, but not before I get into what Anthony Smith and Chael were saying about my boy Tom Aspinall.
And we'll also look forward to UFC 322 with JDM taking on Islam Makhachev and Weili taking on Shevchenko. So sit back, relax, get the popcorn as me and Guru cook one of the best shows in MMA right now. Enjoy the Mighty Guru podcast.
He's out cold badly. John Jones' defense out of Demetrious Johnson there at the end. I am a piece of shit, but my content's really good. Try and look beyond how terrible of a person I am.
The Mighty Guru Show. What's going on, guys? This episode of the Mighty Guru Pod is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now, PrizePicks is daily fantasy sports game played directly from your phone or your computer. Go to PrizePicks on your app store or on your computer, and when you sign up, use our promo code MIGHTYGURU. For new users, play $5. You're gonna get $50 in your lineup, and we had UFC 321, and you know we came out with a W. And when I'm looking at Guru, it looks like he had a W as well. I'll start with my Guru. I went with less with significant strikes with Johnson Almeida. Umar Nurmagomedov, we went less with 57.5. He only landed 32, and then this is where we kind of fumbled a little bit, but we still recovered. We went less with Tom Aspinall, landed 27.5 significant strikes. He only landed 27, but since the fight did not continue, they scratched as a W, but we got the first two right, so we cleaned up with a $600. How'd you do, Guru?
It turns out going for less in that main event was very beneficial based on how it ended, because I took less. Oh no, I got it wrong.
I'm sorry. Well, not all of us can win all the time, Guru.
Yeah, that's all right. A little on-the-spot change up. You never know what's going to happen on the Mighty Guru Show, guys. I got less than 2.5 total rounds for Ikram Aliskerov versus Yun Park, and they went to the distance.
You know what? As long as we're having a good time making your picks at the right place, which is PrizePicks, that's all that matters. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Mighty Guru Pod. And shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this episode. Enjoy.
Is that really how my eyes look? Fucking hell.
Oh, there he is. Oh, you trimmed your beard. You got it all nice and pressed down and everything. Good for you.
Are we started?
Yeah, we always start, babe. We always live.
Yep. I've been crying my eyes out at night. This is why my eyes are so red right now. But no, I just tried to get some sleep. And I don't think we are starting, are we, DJ? This is...
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Boys, we are back again with my man, MMA Guru, and it's me, Mighty. A lot of stuff happened at UFC 321 with Tom Aspinall taking on Gane. Let's start with that, okay? A lot of people, my biggest fear happened, right? Tom Aspinall, we talked about before, he had to win this fight. Obviously, for his legacy and for him to, not back up everything, he talked about, but like John Jones, I'll never forget what he said. Here today, gone tomorrow. And the first thing I saw when I woke up was my beautiful wife. But besides that, I looked at John Jones' Instagram and I saw he changed his avatar to a duck with an eye patch. And then you have Alex Pereira sitting there watching the fight, and he sits there and goes, cut Chama. And then everybody piles up on somebody when they're defeated or they're injured or something like that. I didn't like that feeling whatsoever for Tom Aspinall because the man did get impregnated in his eyes with those fingers. But a lot of people got to understand, go ahead, Guru, go ahead and get in there because we have a lot to talk about when it comes just for that specific fight. Just for the hands and how to throw a proper leg kick. This is not how you throw a leg kick, people. When you go to Thailand or you learn, they don't go hands tight and throw like that. If I throw 1,000 kicks on a bag like this, boom, boom, boom. This is called hand exchange. Hand exchange. I throw 1,000 kicks on the bag this day or in a week, 2 weeks. I train 8 weeks. That's 8,000 kicks a week. And all of a sudden, when I get in a fight, I'm self-naturally supposed to go like this. Get the fuck out of Dodge. Go ahead, Guru. Go ahead, cook, baby.
So, I'm distraught. I'm broken. I don't know how to feel about this. But Tom Aspinall, basically, Cyril Gane went bowling and used Tom Aspinall's face as a bowling ball. All he was missing was a thumb in the mouth. I swear. Yeah. He had 2 fingers up top in each eye, 1 thumb in the mouth, and Cyril was about to bowl a strike with Tom Aspinall's head. Yep. It was a tough one to watch, but a lot happened aside from the eye poke. Unfortunately, it did end with the eye poke. And that is being like seen as some kind of like loss for Tom. I think the fact that this went past 2 minutes was always going to be seen as some kind of loss for Tom. So unless it went perfect for him, as it usually does, I think anything will be seen as like, this was the worst. Oh my God, he did terrible compared to what he normally looks like. This was a bad performance from him because it went 4.5 minutes long into the fight. So therefore, that's how people are going to perceive this. But I think there's some kind of like, people are doing like some kind of victory lap for the loss of Tom Aspinall from him being gouged in his eyes and the fight being called off, when really collectively we should be like, oh, well, let's see what happens next time when we rebook this rematch. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this fight because not only was Tom Aspinall eye poked, and it was really bad. And we can talk about the logistics of the eye poke and how that works and how it can be solved. And maybe we'll get into that a bit afterwards. But Cyril Gane was looking good. Cyril Gane was looking good. He was looking loose. And I think that's something that he almost focused on here because against Ngannou and John Jones, he got really stiff in like the big moment. Like he almost changed who he was characteristically. Against Ngannou, he wasn't letting things go. He was kind of just watching and scarpering a lot more away from him. And against John Jones, he was like very flat-footed almost comparatively. And he threw like a big head kick and then lost his back and then got taken down afterwards. Whereas in this fight, he kind of was making a point to like shake out his shoulders in front of him and do a lot of this movement to like ease the pressure off of him so he could just start flicking the jab. He almost threw no kicks. And I thought we were having a good tit-for-tat fight. A lot of people see it as like, oh, Gane was picking Tom apart. But I see it and I think, Gane's probably up by a couple strikes here, but this is a tit-for-tat move. I just think when we go into the unknown for Tom, it's seen as like it's seen as a negative. Like, oh, Cyril Gane's done better than every opponent before. Therefore, he's doing really good against Tom Aspinall. And that's always going to be the narrative. It's like if someone shucked off Khamzat Chimaev's takedowns in round 1.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy's doing amazing against Khamzat Chimaev. Even if it could still be a competitive fight compared to like any other fight on the roster, people are just going to sort of see the unknown and see the things that we haven't seen before done as like way more than they actually are. I thought we were having a tit-for-tat striking match. Gane was doing good. He bloodied up his nose and then bang, he went bowling for Tom's head. And that's what it was. What did you think about the eye poke, the way Cyril was looking, the way the fight was going?
I think a lot of people wrote off Cyril Gane, and I was one of them. Not gonna lie, his last performance against John Jones wasn't that great. You know, John Jones was able to get him down, got him with that guillotine, very easy to defend guillotine. But obviously, this fight for Gane, when he was getting ready to go against Tom Aspinall, he brought in some wrestlers, even though Tom Aspinall isn't known for his wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, so he did defend that takedown from Tom Aspinall, and I was really impressed because, like you said, he was being loose and he kept it simple. He was just popping that jab, always turning. Tom is great at blitzing, right? And the one thing Tom does that gets him in trouble is the way he moves his head back, right? And he's always trying to get to his opponents by not rushing, but like blitzing across the void, get the combination. And Gane was doing a good job of turning, always forcing Tom to turn. And Tom could not find Cyril Gane like he has his other opponents. The one thing that Tom does very well that works in his other opponents is his other opponents don't move, right? And it's almost like Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez does well against people who stand there and take the beating. But once he fights somebody who moves, he has a hard time being that bruiser who's able to like bop, 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 right? He moves, he's moving. I gotta go find him. Oh, boom, he's always moving. That's kind of as with Tom Aspinall, because Tom is very good about throwing a high kick, the person X blocks it, and Tom is so fast getting his foot down that he's able to throw a 1-2, a 1-2-3. But Cyril Gane wasn't there. He would block the head kick, and then once Tom would get down, he'll throw that one strike, and that one strike might land, and the right hand is going to be coming, but Gane's already moving, so it doesn't land flush as it usually does when he fights people. You watch the other fights, his highlights, where he'll knee the body, boom, pop, pop, and hit the person immediately super fast. But Gane wasn't there. He could not find Gane. Now, people got to realize, you're never going to get rid of eye pokes in mixed martial arts because we have our hands exposed. We need our hands exposed. Why? When I parry a jab, you don't parry jab like this. You parry jab like this. Baseball catch or parry jab, parry across like this. My hands are open, not like this. When my hands are like this closed, I am tense. My hand is tense. That's why when I fight, if you watch my fights, I'm like this. I'm moving like this. I could be faster this way than like this. It's just the instincts of the physicality of like fighting. When you learn how to kick, they say open your hands. It's called hand exchange. I'm hand exchange because I want to block my opponent's vision. And damn, let me tell you, Cyril Gane did a great job blocking that vision. Okay,
you sure
I want to I want to block his vision so he does not see the leg kick. You could do it by punching, which is not the best way. 1-2, 9, or 1-3, 10. But naturally, even when I throw my leg kicks, my hands are coming out because I spent 15 years throwing kicks this way, and that's how they teach you, is to open your hands and spread them and spread your fingers and kick your opponent. Thank you, baby. Whether it lands, your hands are on their face, but it is the proper technique to do that. And people don't realize that. When you see Muay Thai guys, you can't see because they have boxing gloves on, but their hands are open when they throw. It's just something that you can't avoid. Like, I love how everybody's like, oh man, when are we going to fix eye pokes in MMA? You're fucking never going to be able to fix it. My hands are open. They're open.
I mean, I agree that you're never going to be able to get rid of eye pokes in MMA unless you just have boxing gloves on and you cover the fingers. They're always going to happen. But I have a rebuttal for you, DJ. Okay,
go on.
And this is where things are going to get crazy here on the Mighty Guru Show, guys. So I think if people are just looking at it from like an objective thing and they see, oh, an eye poke happened. They happen. They happen. Yeah. Eye pokes happen.
Yeah.
But it seems to me, and I'm noticing this more and more in MMA, and this is where I think people have the problem with it. There seems to be fighters that go their whole career with maybe 1 or 2 eye pokes that they commit to an opponent. And then there seems to be other fighters on the roster that go and commit 1 or 2 eye pokes every single fight. And unfortunately for Cyril Gane, or unfortunately for Tom, Cyril Gane does seem to be one of those fighters that constantly gets people in the eyes by outstretching his fingers in their face. And I know there is like a method to it. You know, he came from a Muay Thai background, so he's going to have learned things to do as he does things. So the fingers are going to come out now and then. But it does seem to be a thing with Cyril Gane where he's like, you keep catching people in the eyes, you can't. Please stop. It's really pissing me off now, okay? And now you've ruined the main event here, okay? But that is how it goes. Like, Gane seems to constantly catch people in the eyes. And then when you pair that with groin shots, I mean, what was the first thing he landed on John Jones in their title fight? Bang, straight to the groin of John Jones. Then you look at, I was watching his, and I think this is where people are saying, oh, you can't defend Gane. It's not because you can't defend that moment from Gane, even though maybe you can't because he did push after the fingers made contact, which definitely didn't look good. He like almost double eye poked him. Like he was like, oh, I eye poked him, but this is not enough. I must gouge and rip his eyes from his head. And he was going for all of it. Proper evil stuff. But so maybe you could like say there's no excuse for that. but it's just he keeps having these foul moments with the eye pokes, the groin shots. And I was watching his finishing highlight reel going into this fight. And I don't know if anyone else noticed a trend amongst Gane's finishes, but they were showing the JDS finish, the Tuivasa finish, the Spivak finish, the Derek Lewis finish. And I'm thinking like, a lot of these punches going right to the back of the head, Gane. Non-stop. He's clubbing these guys over the back of the head. So I think that's where a lot of the backlash of like, Gane can't help it is coming from, is because Gane has kind of been on our watch for like, watch out for some fouls. There's going to be some eye pokes. There's going to be some groin shots. And then when he did it, it's like, see? Yeah. He's fucking done it again, you know?
I feel like he's a criminal. You guys are like, oh, he's robbed this bank. He's robbed this ATM. He's done all this. Yeah. We got you on the fucking FBI watch list, my friend. Yeah. And when he does, you're like, there it is right there. He did it. I just feel that it's something that I'm not promoting it. I want to be frank, but I'm not promoting it. I'm saying promoting it. I'm not saying I'm promoting it, but I'm saying that it is part of fighting. And for an athlete to, to extend his hands like that to throw, it's just proper technique of throwing that's specific technique. Now, I've never eye poked somebody in my career, right? I'm grateful I have. And there's been a lot of people who've been able to use that exact same technique and not eye poked. But I just think that it's just part of the game. And here's the thing too. I want to read off a couple quotes that I saw this morning about the same thing, because I had a lot of mixed feelings, but here we go. This is from Chael Sonnen. Tom Aspinall said, I got poked in the eye and I can't see. I can't see. You got poked in the eye and you're injured. That's a different combo. But if you got poked in the eye and can't see, generally in our sport, we fight through it. Now.
And generally that fighter fucking loses and ruins their entire career. So what's the real message there? Push on, fight through the injury, Stipe after getting eye poked by DC, and then get slept in round 1 by DC and lose your heavyweight belt and get chucked to the side. Or DC, fight on through an eye injury in round 3 or so of the trilogy with Stipe in your biggest fight, retirement fight at the time, or his retirement fight, and go on to fucking lose the fight. So what they're saying is, who cares if the guy fouled you? Fucking push on. That's what we do. We get fouled. We fucking get fucked up in the next round and lose our belt. That's just how it goes. But what was your continuation of it?
No, well, I agree with you, right? And here I want to do one more that I'm going to give you my piece, okay? Anthony Smith said, Chael made a poetic point. You have to be used to or willing to fight with one eye. I did it in Singapore. My point about this is that the last time somebody got severely poked in the eye in a mixed martial arts fight was Henry Cejudo, when Song Yudong donged him in the eyeballs, right? And he was like, you know what? I can't see. He took the 5 minutes. He continued in the fight, right? And he moved and he kept moving. He goes, dude, and he goes back to the corner. He goes, dude, guys, I can't fucking see. I can't see. Then the fight went to the judges' scorecard. Granted, this fight was only the first round, right? So they couldn't go to the scorecards, right? Because they didn't have anything to score, essentially, right? But since Henry Cejudo got off the stool, continued with the fight, he couldn't see. Then he went back to the judge's corner. He went back to his corner, and he goes, I can't see. Let's call the fight. He ended up losing that fight due to the scorecard. So once again, I think people don't realize that if you go into a fight injured, you're already in that fight and you're injured, and it's one round, and if they call it off and it's a no contest, I keep my belt, the ramifications of losing a fight, your pay gets cut drastically. When I fought Henry Cejudo, I was making $380,000 just showing up to that bitch, right? And then, when I lost to Henry, remember, $380, I lost to him. My pay went down to like $125,000 or $150,000. That's a huge pay cut for a loss. So for Tom Aspinall to be like, dude, I can't see. Like, I can't fucking see. I'm not going to continue to fight. Was the smartest thing he could do. Because if he would follow these guys' rules of just push through it, mate, just push through it.
Just lose, and he loses. Be a bum like us.
Yeah. I want to say like, maybe like you, but not like me.
No, not like you, but I'm saying, and let me just chime in here. Okay. You mentioned Lionheart. Lionheart's chiming in. I didn't know Lionheart was chiming in on whether or not they should continue through. But I know he took the illegal knee off Jones, and maybe he won a split decision in Singapore after he got eye-poked. But I didn't know Lionheart was weighing in on the situation here. It's just weird to me because it's like these two are up there. And I love Chael because he's the undefeated, undisputed.
Absolutely.
Guys, Tom's got a belt round his shoulder that is a lot to him. It's an undisputed world championship. And you're basically telling him, sure, you got your eyes gouged out by fucking Gane's baguette fingers right into the socket of your eyeballs and raked across your face, but just fucking lose your title like the rest of us. The rest of us, Chael's never had undisputed. Smith's never had undisputed. Maybe he could have done if he would have taken the illegal knee out against John Jones. But I don't think he would be on the analyst desk if he actually did take the belt for that. I think that's a nice little favor from the UFC. Like, you kept the division moving. You didn't ruin the timeline of MMA. You kept trooping on. Maybe that time he earned the Lionheart moniker. But I just think it's such a silly take because I've seen those guys, and listen, I've seen Smith curled up in a ball from legal strikes. So it's like, what do you want Tom to do? What would make you guys happy with what Tom responded with? Like, I've seen Smith hit by an elbow off of a fighter and then just go, right, time for the classic Armadillo Smith technique where he shoots in on a single leg and gets beaten up by Reyes for 5 minutes straight while doing nothing about it. Smith, I've seen you quit without being eye-poked and be on your knees on the single leg getting punched over and over again. So did he not quit correctly according to the Lionheart State Athletic Commission of quitting? Was it not up to like regime? It wasn't up to standard. No, that quitting wasn't good enough. He needs to quit a different way in future, says Anthony Smith. I don't understand how that works, but it's just weird to me.
That armadillo. Armadillo.
The armadillo technique, he's going to curl up in a ball. So I don't know how they're weighing in on this. Like, Chael did the same thing. He got hit by John Jones, and he kind of just took it and got the paycheck. I know he stepped in on short notice, but like, dude, this means some real shit. We've been building to this moment. If that was to be how Tom lost his belt, not only would you have a narrative of like, Gane fucking eye gouged him and then knocked him out. I'm sick of those moments in UFC history where we look back and we say, sure, this moment happened, but it only happened because the guy fouled the guy and then they just kept going. And you mentioned Cejudo. The ref forced him to continue that round, if you remember. He said to the ref, I can't
after the 5 minutes.
Man.
Yeah, after the 5 minutes, he was like, what are you going to do? Well, I can't see. And I was like, do you want to continue or not? It was just almost the same thing with Kevin Holland when he got kicked in the balls. Like, they're like, hey, are you good? Are you good? What do you want to do? Kevin Holland was like, I plead the fifth. I did not go, he wasn't saying anything. And
he was avoiding eye contact.
Yeah. And it's almost like after the 5 minutes, you have a choice. Do you want to continue or not? I think it was great that Tom didn't do it. And with Henry Singh, he did continue to fight. And he couldn't see. So I think like after like sitting here thinking about like what Tom did and watching it, I was like, I thought it was smart because he fights again. He's still the heavyweight champion of the world. His pay does not change. And, I was listening to his one of his interviews and his father said, I don't want him to re-sign with the UFC. He's got 3 fights left on his contract. 3 fights. He goes, I want a heavyweight champion in boxing. So those 3 fights, he fought. One of those fights are gone now because it was a no contest and a contract structured. So he basically gets his full pay, 1 fight off his deal. Now he's going to this fight with 2 fights left on his deal. If he beats Cyril Gane, now he's left on 1 fight on his deal and he can roll the dice like I want X, Y, and Z. He doesn't, they can usually typically if you're a champion, they renegotiate when you're in 2 fights or 1 fight because they don't want a champion of the world to go in a fight, they did with Francis Ngannou, into a fight on 1 fight deal left, and he wins. Now that champion holds all the cards. So I think it was the smartest thing to do because he's still getting the same pay. He's a champion, and he has 2 fights left on his contract. And then I think he set up pretty good. I mean, it's not like, oh, hey, since you got eye poked, there's no contest, we're not going to pay you your full pay. Yeah. Like, they're going to pay him his full pay, whatever it is. And if it's pay-per-view points, I mean, essentially, he got a free paycheck for getting poked tonight. He didn't lose. So that's how I do. I thought what Tom did was great. Don't listen what Chael, don't listen what Anthony Smith say. You're the athlete. You're in there. I would hate to fight with 1 fucking eye. Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, I me sitting here right now, I might be like, oh, man, if I got poked tonight, I'll continue. I can tell you right now, happily, sitting here, if I would have got poked tonight and I couldn't fucking see, I'm not fighting somebody I'm not fighting somebody like fucking, fucking pirate.
Yeah.
Imagine the pirates back in the day. Crazy.
Huh?
I said, imagine the pirates back in the day. Ha, yeah, and fucking,
nowhere near their opponent, just depth perception all off. Blackbeard's 3 feet out of range. Yeah, missing everything he goes for. But either way, you mentioned Henry Cejudo, and he immediately his response was Henry Cejudo. I can't fucking see, man. I can't see anything, man. And he's saying it out loud, but that's a human response to not being able to fucking see anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, Tom immediately said he can't see anything. What was he thinking? You're supposed to lie about that. But then you're in the reality where you genuinely are blind.
Yeah.
And someone's put used you as a bowling ball. I can't even describe it better than that. He used him as a bowling ball to push his face away. It wasn't like the eye poke just landed. It touched his eyes and then he went, and pushed him in. So he pushed one eyeball sort of off kilter, the one that was really bad. And then the other eyeball just got a knuckle deep eye poke afterwards. So there's a reality where you're literally blind and you can't see anything. And then they might say, okay, we're going to continue. And then you'll be like, all right, then. And Tom's facing the fucking cage while Gane's behind him. Yeah. If he really can't see anything. So there's just a human response that comes out, not like a smart decision to say, I can't see anything. Even though, it's a smart move not to continue. It's not like he made a coherent decision to be like, I can't see anything. Like, let me think what I should say in this moment. I can't see anything. It's like, holy shit, I can't fucking see anything. This was the biggest moment for me. I've been waiting 15 months for this. All the pressure's on my back. I'm supposed to go out there and destroy Gane. And now I'm blind. And they want me to go back out there. Or now I'm just blind. I can't see anything. I can't see anything. What the fuck is going on? What's even going on right now? And maybe you could see out of one eye. But I just think it should be on Gane. You cheat. That was a messy move by Gane. Fuck it. Gane was looking good. Let's run it back anyway. But there seems to be this sort of response from the community that's like, fuck Tom, Tom, and I'm like, what? Victim blaming. I blamed Henry, by the way. I should mention this. I blamed Henry because the difference was when Aspinall got eye poked, he sort of went, oh, it's fucking hell, I can't even open my eye. And that's normally what you see. Yair Rodriguez brushes Jeremy Stevens' eye. Even just a brush of the eyelid. I don't know if you remember this in UFC Mexico. And Jeremy's eye won't open as like a muscle reflex. And I'm like, what? That didn't even look like a bad eye poke. But what we've learned over time is the eyes are a fucking delicate thing. Yes. And extremely, I think they're maybe one of the most complex parts of our body, bar the brain, is the eye and how delicate and how easy it is to be damaged and how easily you can have problems with it. So, and Jeremy just couldn't open his eye, and the Mexican crowd were like chucking beer at Jeremy on his way out, and they had to cover him on the way out. And I went after Henry because Henry's sat there wide-eyed going, I can't fucking see anything, man. And he's not holding his eyes. So at that point, I was like, what the fuck is Henry doing? This is crazy. But now I get it. Like, dude, you're blind.
Yeah.
You're blind. And maybe it took my boy being on the receiving end for me to finally get this shit, but you're blind. You shouldn't be asked to continue. And even Henry was told by Herzog, we're going to continue anyway. And Henry's like, I can't fucking see, man. He's saying that to the ref and the fight should be stopped. But Herzog's going, we're going to continue till the end of the round and then we're going to score this thing. I'm not like, what? Why would we do that? Really, in hindsight, why the fuck would they do that? This guy can't see. Your job as a ref is to protect them. Let's continue to the rest of the round so we can score this to Song Yudong and move on with the division. It's like, hang on. This is real injustice. And the injustices of the sport seem to never be against the people committing things and always seem to be on the people to have to troop on once something's being committed against them. It's a really odd dynamic, but go ahead, DJ.
I'm curious why that dynamic is in our sport. Like maybe because we put a lot of emphasis on he's the baddest man on the planet and they should be able to trope through these things. I'll never understand it. I feel like the only person who's trained to fight with one eye is Michael Bisping, right? Because he is literally blind to one eye. Yeah. So for him, he's used to it. And I never forget, I heard rumors like when GSP came back to fight Michael Bisping, he goes, oh, that was an easy fight. I was fighting somebody with one eye. So I just kept attacking the eye he couldn't see. I kept throwing stuff on that side and I ended up, catch him. It was a great fight between Michael Bisping and George St. Pierre. Boy George was like, I was literally fighting a guy with one eye. So he couldn't, like, if I can't see this way and somebody throws a high kick on that side, I can't register it all the time. Michael Bisping has lost his eye. So it's he tore his retina from the, I think it was Vitor Belfort. Yeah. Had multiple surgeries on it. So he literally fights with one eye. So for him, he's trained his whole career where Tom's trained to have two eyes, right? So I think everybody needs to like pull back the reins. Let's give Tom grace and maybe put more of the blame on Ciryl Gane. But the beautiful thing is that they could run it back. Nobody really got injured. We don't know the full extent of Tom Aspinall's eye injury, right? For all we know, he can have a torn retina. He can have an abrasion on his core. We have no idea. Yeah. Hopefully for us to get something going again, hopefully it's nothing serious and they can book this. I would love for them to book it in December. Throw this fight at the end of the year in Las Vegas with, who is it? Merab taking on Peter Yan, Van taking on Alex Pantoja. Just go ahead. Let's end the year on a banger. Throw them as a main event, run it back. They only fought for not even 5 minutes. It's not like they have to go to another fucking weight cut. I think they do that. That's how you fix and rectify this to get everybody happy. Put it at the end of the year card. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Or LA. I don't know when Ilya's coming back, but January is good as well. They could try and book this for December, but there's also a part of this where this is now a bigger fight. You know?
Oh, 1,000%.
Because what people saw, and maybe we'll get more into like what actually happened in the fight amongst them, because we only sort of glossed over that. I'm going to sneeze.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Horrible feeling. Terrible feeling, that is. No, it's there. No, I'm good. Right, anyway, let's just talk through it. I'm blind. I'll be blind through this while I work on this sneeze. But the only thing that even... Fucking hell.
Yeah, here, you work on that sneeze. I mean, the biggest thing that made this so controversial is that, like you said, what could have happened in the fight, because Ciryl Gane was looking good. I was impressed with Ciryl Gane, how he was able to move, pot shot, keep everything simple. Keep it simple. And maybe when he fought Francis and when he fought John Jones, he did not keep it simple, right? So since he kept it simple with Tom Aspinall, he was able to bloody Tom Aspinall. He was able to defend the takedown for Tom Aspinall. And we actually had a good fight on our hands, and who knows what happened. I think, like, let's say, you know, Tom was just just piecing him up like he does everybody else. And then the eye poke happens, like, oh, okay. And then Tom quits, like, oh, okay, yeah. I don't think there'll be as much flack, but the fact that Ciryl Gane was having a lot of success in that fight against Tom Aspinall, and then the eye poke happens, and then that's where I think everybody's up in roar, because it was, we had, I mean, the co-main event was it was a decent fight, but I felt like this was very competitive, where we saw somebody was moving, popping. We'd never seen somebody pop Tom Aspinall like that before, and that's why I think a lot of people were upset, and the fact that we all wanted to see. You know, now it kind of like, are we going to get Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira in the White House? Are we ever going to get John Jones versus Tom Aspinall at the White House? I think those kind of leave our mind now, where it's like,
hang on, we got this to deal with. We got Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, and that was my point. This is now a bigger fight when they booked the rematch, because I think there were people that out there that wanted Gane to win. There's people out there that were rooting for Gane, that maybe like were really pulling for Gane to pull this off and upset Aspinall and get the job done. But they were they couldn't say it. Like, credibility-wise, they were like, damn, I kind of wish Gane would pull this off. But man, I still think Tom's going to destroy him. You know, I still think Tom's going to beat him. And that was the perception going in. Tom was a minus 400 favorite, minus 350 or something. And I was like, those odds are wrong. And they're not going to be the same odds going into a rematch. Maybe they'll have Tom a slight favorite. Maybe it'll be more pick'ems. But I think maybe Tom will be a slight favorite going into the rematch. Like, but this isn't going to be the same perception going into the next one. This is going to be a thing where people are like, hang on, Gane might have the answer. Let's actually see how this goes. Like, people are maybe looking at this to say, okay, Tom's going to buzzsaw through Ciryl Gane. I was very worried because I knew Gane could give him a ton of problems. But I think the rematch is even bigger now. So maybe they put it on a Paramount card. Maybe they build it up, because right now in the heavyweight division, if they don't have Alex Pereira moving up to fight either of them, if they don't have John Jones moving up to fight either of them, they have Volkov there, which would lead to a Aspinall rematch with Volkov, or it would lead to a Cyril Gane trilogy with Volkov. And that just isn't appeasing right now at the heavyweight division. And maybe we'll get into the Volkov Almeida thing.
Yeah.
Because I know that was a bit of a moment. Maybe we'll go straight to that after this. But I think it makes a bigger fight. And I think it almost saves the heavyweight division because moments like this where something has to be rebooked, it bides time. You know, It almost buys the division time where we have these up-and-comers, Walter Walker, Mario Pinto, and these guys that are sort of coming up the division. And it sort of gives them time to get there. Ante Delicia's got fights coming up. And you even mentioned this. I wanted to mention this as well because Dana was sort of taking shots at Tom afterwards. And only Tom knows, you know, and he didn't want to continue and he was getting bloodied up. And all of this narrative that Dana was saying, where normally you'd think, Dana would come out and say, it sucks, eye pokes happen. But then you mentioned before, Andy Aspinall was talking on interview about Tom going to boxing. You know what I mean? Dana don't like that shit. Dana don't like that shit at all. Dana's seeing the White and Gane just shape out the same way in his eyes. Couple fights left on contract. I'm going to go to boxing for more pay. I don't want to fight Ante Delija because he's my friend coming up and I'm going to vacate if Ante Delija comes up. So Dana's probably thinking, no, the fuck you ain't, kid. No, you ain't. And then he's on the microphone afterwards saying, yeah, Tom was getting busted up. I guess we'll have to rebook it. Like, there's no favor from Dana for Tom. You know, we've seen this before.
Should there be favor? Like, you know, like, should he be like, I think this is always the hardest thing. And the one thing I've always not respected about Dana, but kind of respected, it's like, should he be favored? I think you always want to build the athlete up and be like, you know, like you said, hey, guys, the eye poke happens. Only Tom Aspinall could say it. But I'll tell you right now, if I got poked in the fucking eye before coming and doing this goddamn press conference, I'll tell you what, I would have come here and do it. I'll be like, you don't have to give me 20 minutes to recover. Granted, he's going to be in there like that. I just feel there's something to be said that a promoter always kind of, you know,
keeps it neutral.
Keeps it neutral. Like, hey, man, it is what it is. I'll get this fight rebooked as soon as possible. Do I felt Tom could have fight on? I don't know. I've seen guys do it before. I've seen it, right?
I've seen lose.
You know, I see them lose. I see them win sometimes. 80, but more times
they get
I
that
see them
story
lose.
like he overcame a foul and he still pulled it off. Like, that's the narrative, right?
But I just think there's just too much risk to lose. Like, I feel like in MMA, like, there's just, if you lose, everybody forgets the eye poked. You know, Henry Cejudo is about to fight again. Nobody remembers that he got eye poked, you know, that he lost that fight. You know, yeah. I hope they get rebooked soon and then we'll go from there. But I just, yeah. But I think it's smart that, you know, I always think it's smart that the 2 fights left on the contract. There's way more money in boxing. Well, there's way more potential money to be made in boxing. I don't want to say there's more money to be made in boxing. There's more potential money to be made in boxing. So we'll have to see how that plays out for Tom and negotiation. He's still got 2 more fights. And, you know,
that is a smart move from Tom. Can I tell you what's a fucking dumb move from his whole team?
What?
And this is from I'm part of Tom Aspinall's team now. I don't know if you're aware, but no, I'm actually Team Aspinall here, guys. So I'm speaking on behalf of it. But I think part of the dumbest thing I've ever seen was I was watching Fight Week and I was thinking, shut up, stop. You know how much this like puts you in bad stead with Dana? Like, you can talk about these things. Hush, hush. No, Andy, calm down at the interview that you're doing where he's saying, yeah, we're going to go to boxing. That's good. Yeah. Be good that. Going to boxing. Be good that. More money there. And he's talking about this, and I'm like, dude, no, just hush, hush. Everybody keep this hush. If that's the plan, you keep it real quiet. Yeah. Like, yeah, we're going to resign. We're going to resign. And then behind the scenes, you're kind of like, okay, what we really doing once this contract runs out? Well, resign, Dana. Don't worry about it. And then behind it, we've seen this before. I heard Tom on the interview saying, I'm not going to fight Ante Delija. If he comes up, I'll vacate the belt. And I'm like, oh, that's going to make him. Dana's not going to like that. Fuck, don't do that. And then I'm seeing Andy saying, oh, we're going to go to boxing after this contract's over. And I'm thinking, oh, you're no way you're winning a split decision. There's no chance you're winning a split decision here. And you said, said Dana should keep it neutral. In my opinion, Dana not giving Tom favor is him just not fucking trashing him at the presser. This is Dana's standards that we got to consider here. Anyone else is like, okay, they kept it neutral, they were even, but Dana keeping it neutral to me, I'm like, come on, don't shit on him at the fucking press conference. But I get why, because Tom's existence has given him nothing but strife over the past 2 years. I bet you there was a few year period where he was showing up to a press conference and thinking, please no Tom Aspinall, John Jones questions.
Oh,
please
yeah.
no Tom Aspinall, John Jones. So there is sort of this, like, Tom has become like the thorn in his side or the stone in his shoe that he's just like, fucking, I almost wish Gane would head kick this cunt out cold. You know what I mean?
But it wasn't Tom's fault that he was throwing in his side. It was more that he was trying to make that match between Tom Aspinall and John Jones. So anything, it was John Jones being thrown in his side just because he was undecisive of what he wanted to do.
Not his precious John Jones, DJ. We've been over this. Not his precious. We don't talk about Boo like that. You don't talk about his Boo like that ever again. But yeah, that's the narrative. I also think in the fight itself, I think, you know, both of them are normally fighting plodsters, as Lucas Tracy would call it. And they all like sort of trudge forward, and Gane and Aspinall. I don't mean to call the other heavyweights fat, but it is funny to watch. It is funny to watch Aspinall and Gane get caught in their orbit. And I'm not even joking. They're literally orbiting them like a fucking planet in the center of the octagon as they waddle around coming forward, and Gane and Aspinall are scooting around. And when you get two movers, it almost becomes like we were watching two Beyblades go round. You know what I mean? Let it rip. And then Gane and Aspinall are like circling round, and Gane circling more. And it becomes like this sort of like gyroscope, I think is the term for it, where Tom's sort of like circling to where normally he would be cutting an angle on a blob of a heavyweight, like a big blobster. But then there's Cyril Gane, who's kind of circling with him. So it's almost throwing it off. And we get this sort of like weird look of a fight. Like, have you ever done that thing? You play games, you know, when it tracks what your mouse is doing?
Yep.
The heavyweight blobs ain't doing much on that mouse. We're getting like a cross on their review, but this one's like squiggling all over the place. Everyone's all over. Gane was getting loose. I think it was better than people thought, though. A lot of people had this narrative that Gane was busting him up, and I think the nose busted is a bad look for Tom, of course, because we've never seen him. It's like a Khabib. If you saw Khabib bleed in a fight, you're going, oh. We never seen him in any kind of danger. In the UFC, that is. He's lost before, and obviously he had his knee blow apart before. But seeing his nose blood, he was like, oh my God, Gane's done that. Gane's done that to him. And that's big. And I thought Gane was winning the round because of it. Yeah. But I also thought that Gane was going to be just kicking at him and teeping at him and doing all of this, and then Tom would just catch him. Or Gane was going to be doing a whole bunch of this and winning the whole thing, and then Tom was going to blast a double and get him down Kimura. That was my prediction. He would get him in a Kimura from like a body lock takedown. And that was my take on the fight. But what I saw Tom throwing low kicks. Gane was throwing jabs. Gane caught him with a left hand early. Tom's front kicking the body. And I'm like, dude, the guy's front kicking Cyril Gane in the body here. This is actually pretty good from Tom. And then he's low kicking him. And I'm like, damn, that low kick's pretty good. Then Gane would land another stinging jab and another jab to the body. He was going low and high with the jab quite a lot. And then Tom would land a head kick and then look for his 1-2, but the 1-2 wouldn't land. But I'm like, dude, Tom's throwing head kicks. So it was almost like, I'm unimpressed that we've gone past 3 minutes because that's the standard that Tom set. But I'm also kind of like, he's spinning around. He's getting like, he threw a spinning back kick to the body on Cyril Gane and caught him circling. And I'm thinking to myself, compared to what I watched in Jones versus Miocic, this is the peak heavyweight scrap. Them circling around, you know what I mean? Jones Miocic round 2. We want to talk about, you know, the heavyweight division looking bad. That was the heavyweight division looking bad. Seeing John plod around and like scarper away from Stipe while he sort of like runs him down like a young whippersnapper that Jones is compared to Stipe, I guess. And Stipe's like throwing shots. And then watching Gane get loose and go to the body and the head and go to the oblique kick, and Tom's out there low kicking, moving, spinning back kick to the body, head kick, looking for the 1-2-3 afterwards. It's like, this is peak heavyweight stuff. Yeah. And I think the narrative before was that the division's dead. The division's dead. Tom's going to buzz through the whole division. Even DC said it, right? When he put his hand on Tom's shoulder. We know about that. Put his hand on Tom's shoulder. Sorry, DC. I ain't taking it down, buddy.
No, hey. It's a good, you know what? And I applaud you for not doing that, because now it's everywhere. It is everywhere. But it's the truth, right? Like you can't, once you say something on the internet, it stays there forever, right?
Yeah.
And right now, MMA media it's like a hot fire. You know, people watch my show, they watch your show, and whatever we say, it catches and they take it and they put something on. I said Bautista should not respect Umar Nurmagomedov. MMA fighting, another channel grabbed it and they're like, oh, we'll get to that fight in a little bit. But, I agree with you. The way Gane and Tom Aspinall were moving was probably the peak of the division. Gane is very athletic. I will put him like his movement. He needs that movement where John Jones is more of a plotty guy. John Jones has always been very plotty. He's never been a loose guy on his feet, high on the toes. He throws high kicks. He throws a jab. Same with DC. DC's kind of plotty, but he is light on his feet. Where Tom and Gane, they've always been light on their feet. They always had dynamic movement. But that's why I think Tom had a harder time. He's never fought somebody who moves like Gane. Yeah. But I guarantee next time they fight, he's going to come more prepared for that, as Gane has always fought guys who either plot or move just as good as him.
Yeah. But I think it's like Tom normally punches through some heavyweight's head as they're coming at him. Like he goes straight through Pavlovich's head while Pavlovich is like pushing him with a jab, and then boom, he gets drummed off his head. And, even Tybura, I almost feel like Tom at moments isn't even sleeping these guys on the feet necessarily. Against Pavlovich he did, and against some other fighters he did as well. But there's a few other fighters like with Collier, Tybura, and Spivak that he fought where you're kind of just impact knocking them down to the ground with your fist. It's not like he's clipping them on the chin and spinning their jaw and they go, ooh, like that. He's almost punching right through their head. And just the pure impact of his punch is like sending them to the canvas to where then he can swarm. You know what I'm saying? So that was almost like a new thing for him where he can't punch through Cyril Gane's head. He's just reaching Cyril Gane's chin. And he's not getting enough, because Gane's so elusive, he's not punching straight through Cyril Gane's jaw. He landed one good shot that got a reaction out of Gane, but it wasn't at the range that he's used to where he can just sort of drive through him and Gane's on the canvas. And now Tom's sprinting towards him like he does, like Herb Dean, trying to stop a fight, running over to Cyril Gane and just swinging on him. So I like what we saw, and I like that I like the whole thing with DC saying, this whole division, you can go on a generational run. And then everyone was kind of like, this division, shit, he's right. Jailton can't fight, he was saying. DC's an oracle. DC's got prophecy. He's a prophet. The prophecy was written by DC right there. But yeah, he was sort of like saying that to Tom. And I like this because now we're like, hang on a second.
He might be right.
Good. No, but about Jailton, but about Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall, you're like, hang on a second.
Yeah,
the division's not dead. We actually have some interesting matchups here, and everything's interesting at heavyweight. So I think it kind of reset to where now we're like, this is a division with a lot of killers in it, and Gane is one of them. And he's not just some fucking side quest for Aspinall to complete before he moves on to a Pereira or a Jones.
Well, think about it. It's such a big thing that happened that we've been waiting for a long fucking time to see him fight. Okay? A long fucking time. And this is what we get. We get 4 minutes. So who knows how long we're going to wait for. Let's touch on the co-main event with Mackenzie Dern taking on Verna. I just feel like when I was watching it, I felt like Mackenzie Dern obviously beat her. She outshot her with the jab, outpotted her with the jab, moving. And I just felt like they were both even. Like I didn't feel like one outshined the other. You know what I mean? Where like if a Weili was in there, I think a Weili you would see the speed difference. You would see the transition of like a head and arm. I take you down to combinations, the knee. I just felt like Weili is just so much like a stratosphere above these girls, excuse me. When I watch him, I was like, I felt like they were both even, and I felt like Mackenzie Dern just did a better job of implementing her game plan. Great fight, but I wasn't like, oh man, she fucking blew her out the water. Yeah.
There was no like levels above type performance. Like, this is the champ. This is the one that separated herself from the division. Whereas when Zhang Weili finished Andrade, and then, then it was her and Rose, and it was like, these two girls are just kind of better than the rest of them below. Even Ioanni and Jacek, when she kind of went on her run at strawweight, it was like, she's just different than she was beating the fuck out of these poor girls. I remember that. Remember when Yanni and Jacek was in her prime and she was teeing off against these girls up against the cage?
Oh yeah. And then she would tee off, and as she's teeing off, she would get more distance between her and her girl, and then she would still a body kick, head kick, and then the judge's like, okay, I'm not gonna see this beat down anymore.
This is horrific.
Yeah, and that's where, like, when I was watching this, Mackenzie Dern, she's very good, first person to have all those accolades, IBJJF world champion, ADCC champion, and then also UFC champion. That's a very, very amazing accomplishment to do that. But it's almost like I think about Michael Wandover when he talks about, right now, Ilia Topuria is a lightweight champion of the world. But is he, though? Because Islam Makhachev was a champion. He just relinquished the belt. So when I think about Mackenzie Dern and Verna, it's like, are they truly the champion, or is it's a placeholder for Weili?
When she comes back.
When she comes back, beats the bricks off. Like, I feel like I'll be an asshole where it's like, I'm gonna go up and try this belt. You win that belt. And I was like, I don't want you guys to be champion. I'm coming back down here just to beat you guys, just because you guys. I just don't know. So that's a hard thing. Like, when I was looking at the rankings, and I saw it was Mackenzie Dern's and Verna fighting for the belt, and I was just like, God, I just wish Weili would have stayed there. But great fight. Congrats to both of them. I thought it was an amazing opportunity for Mackenzie Dern to be able to get the belt, because she already beat Verna once, so she was able to dial it in a little bit better than come with the victory in the gold.
It was kind of a similar fight, really. It was, but I think Jandiroba kind of controlled the grappling a bit more. Like, she had more top position. She got the takedowns, and that was kind of my take. That's why I picked Jandiroba, because I was saying, even though she lost the first fight, I think that she's going to be able to get top position. And normally when it's close, or maybe move on. Normally, when it's close, you get top position and you win. You know what I mean? Because it's close. They don't know who to go with. Somebody got a takedown, especially and I hate to do this, but especially in women's MMA.
Yep.
There's almost like this thing in women's MMA where unless one girl's completely styling on the other, if it is a competitive round on the feet and one of them happens to get a takedown at the end, the judges will just go, oh, what? Oh, she's on top. Okay, we'll give her that round 10-9. And that's kind of what he just wakes up. Oh, takedown happened. My bad. But I think what the problem was is just Dern had more hustle. That's what and that's weird to me. I thought that Verna would have a bit more push to, like, she needs this. Because, Dern's got things going for her, let's just say. Okay, so I thought Verna was like, this is her life. Like, she needs this world championship. So I was like, Verna's going to have the hustle. Dern's prioritizing other things, is what I was thinking. Like, Dern's doing more squats than Verna's doing takedown things. And, Dern's getting the implants. Verna's not getting the implants. And it's just like, So I feel like I thought Verna would have more hustle, but it was Dern that was actually damaging off bottom. Like, Verna would get on top, and then she would kind of relinquish position, because Dern would, like, get wrist control and then just start hammer fisting her in the face or elbowing her. And it was like, oh, she's winning that exchange now. Like, Verna's not getting anything out of this. She's not passing into dominant position. She's just there. And then she would stand up. And to me, that looks like a loss. When you stand up out of someone's guard and go, oh, I don't really like this. Especially when you've been hit a couple of times and then you get up. The judges look at that and they go, oh, she didn't like that. And she kind of gave up a good position that she had, a dominant position, because she felt like she was losing the exchange. And she was losing the exchange on the ground. So I think that's really what it came down to, is that Dern had more hustle and Verna didn't really do enough with top control. But yeah, and there wasn't much top control. She'd only get a takedown for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, then
Jailton has a different argument, because he had top control for like 4 minutes of round 3. But I think that's what it sort of came down to in the fight. Is that they went with Mackenzie Dern, and I agree with them. I think she won 4-1 if I had to score it, so I thought it was pretty clear. But I agree there, holding the belt. Zhang Weili, regardless what happens to Shevchenko, come back to us at strawweight. We can't have this. We can't have this. I was looking at the rankings for like next opponents for Dern, and I'm thinking, oh god, it's Tatiana Suarez up next, huh? She just lost to Zhang.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tatiana Suarez versus Mackenzie Dern. I think that'd be a great fight. If Tatiana Suarez I feel like Tatiana Suarez, if she comes back, and who did she just fight?
She just fought Yan Xiaonan. No, she lost to Weili, but then I think she fought like Yan Xiaonan or something. Okay. I want to say.
I don't know. I feel like that would be a great fight, because I feel like the wrestling and the dog in her will be a great a great battle between those two. Granted, because Dern has the jiu-jitsu background, but Tata Suarez is a big athlete. Like, she's long. She's got great wrestling. I would love to see that fight. I think that'll be a good fight to, obviously Weili, I think, beats Mackenzie Dern, but I don't think Weili's going to come back down. But I'm okay seeing Tata Suarez versus Mackenzie Dern. I feel that there's not enough. The talent pool for women's MMA just hasn't got to where it is in mixed martial arts. Like, recently we've been seeing Ronda Rousey hit pads and move around, training mixed martial arts. And I feel if Ronda Rousey came back today, I feel she would probably be a champion. Like, that's how far I feel women's MMA has gone. It hasn't evolved that much. If Amanda Nunes wanted to come back, I think she would probably be a world champion.
I agree with that.
I just feel like I think Ronda just had to get past the strike ability and getting hit in the face. But there's not a lot of girls out there who are fucking sleeping people, right? It's very rare you see a girl like Amanda Nunes who's like last one after I can think about Amanda Nunes is Holly Holm, right? Yeah. Like, name another woman out there off the top of your mind that's like maybe Stamp Fairtex. But other than that, I can't think of somebody's like, boom, she's asleep. Like, it's very, very rare to find that. So, but I feel women's MMA hasn't evolved like it hasn't, like men's it has, because I just think the talent pool is not as big. So, Tata Suarez versus Mackenzie Dern, I'm okay with it.
Right, let me cure. I must have autism because that was bugging me for the past 5 minutes there. Amanda Lemos is who she fought, Tatiana Suarez. She beat Amanda Lemos. It doesn't even fucking mean anything, but to me it does, DJ. This means something to me. I had to be correct there because, God, I said Yan Xiaonan. But Amanda Lemos, she beat Amanda Lemos. But I agree with you, but I don't know if Ronda Rousey would come back and be a champion. But only because I think she would lose to Kayla Harrison. Like, if Kayla Harrison wasn't around, I reckon she'd probably beat the top contenders and maybe she'd beat Raquel Pennington. You know what I mean? Like, if she was in her prime. If she was if prime Rousey came back. I don't know if she came back at this point in her life, but if prime Rousey were to just be resummoned in the cage against Juliana Pena, Pennington, Ketlin Vieira, I think she could do quite well against them. And Nunes, I think definitely the case with Nunes is clear. If she just walks back in, she could literally have a beer in one hand and just fucking smoke Pennington with one hand while keeping her at bay. And she'd have her baby in one hand and just clean Juliana Pena's chin off with the other one. I reckon it'd be quite easy for her. But yeah,
there's a point now where it's like, I said this. I know we're going on for a tangent, but I was like, man, I think it's a bad fight for Kayla Harrison to fight Amanda Nunes. But I'm changing my tone. Kayla Harrison's a competitor. And I feel, and I've seen firsthand, in person, seen Amanda Nunes get broke. I've seen her get broken by another athlete. That's athletic, that's determined, that can wrestle, that can take it to her, like take the fight to her. Yeah.
Kat Zingano, you're saying?
Kat Zingano, I was there live. I was there live, and I'll never forget walking out. That's why I miss the old days of the UFC. You would fight in a hotel, then after that, like, that's the interesting thing about the UFC is, like, the athletes would fight, and then we would literally be in a hotel, like, having Haagen-Dazs ice cream, just sitting there and with all the fans, and then we're just so accessible. But I remember walking past Amanda Nunes as she got beat when her and Kat Zingano fight. So I feel, changing my tune, I think if those two fight, I think it would be a more competitive fight, where before I thought Amanda Nunes might blow Kayla Harrison out. But let's move on. Congrats to Mackenzie Dern. Let's go on. I think the Bautista versus Umar Nurmagomedov was probably my favorite fight to watch, just because the technique that was displayed of how Bautista took the fight to Umar Nurmagomedov, right? Umar's grappling is just so much better than Bautista, that once he got him down, he took the back. But then there was a point in transition at the beginning of the fight when he threw that kick, Umar took him down. He went after the legs. He had a beautiful, deep toe hold. And then Umar Nurmagomedov was able to get out of it, and through that transition, he was able to pass the guard and end up in north-south. But I felt the way that Bautista fought Umar Nurmagomedov was a smart way to fight it, because you have to force the fight with an athlete like that. But once he gets his back, he locks up that body triangle, then you're fucking playing for dear life. You're trying to get him off your back. You're going to the right. You're going to the left, fighting the hands. And I felt that with that X factor of the wrestling, if Bautista was able to after the fight, when you look at Umar, he was gassed. Like, he was like, whew. Yeah, that boy was a lot tougher than I thought he was going to be. And I think it's because how Bautista approached that fight by just taking it to Umar.
Merab's watching that post-fight speech saying, breathing heavy, are we, Umar? He's working. He's just went for a run after seeing Umar's. He went for a run during Dern versus Jandiroba, came back for the main event. I swear. But yeah, I think I agree. I actually liked Umar versus, you know what? Normally I'm like, they're grappling. But with this, it was like such a stark difference from the Volkov Almeida scrambles. Oh, I was like, you know what? This is fucking fun as fuck. Especially because Mario Bautista was like, it was almost like there was this stubbornness in him. Mm-hmm. I've got newfound respect for Mario Bautista for sure after this one. He didn't lose much stock to me, by losing here, because it was like, man, he really did not give in anything. Like, there was no, you've got me down. All right, well, 2 minutes left. I guess next round we'll work on, we're back on the feet the next round and I'll try things again. Because if you do that, the guy's not working that's on you. Yep. And he's going to be fresh for that next round too. But it takes more energy to get to those positions. So Mario is almost operating under the condition of, I'm going to just out-hustle him. Like, if he wants to get to these dominant positions on me, good luck. I'm going to shake it off. I'm going to go for the toe hold. I'm going to scramble around with him. I'm going to fight the hands back. And even when he had his back taken, he's fighting the legs. Umar's got to it's not like Umar's sitting there going, I worked so hard for this position. There's none of that for Umar there. It's like, oh God, he's actually actively escaping this. And if I'm not careful, he might turn around, end up on top. 2-on-1, he was trying to fight the body lock as well with his legs and sort of grind into it on the ground and then shake the other way. Umar had to keep switching the body triangle on the back take. And he was hustling good on that body lock, Mario Bautista. So I love that. I love the hustle from him, the never say give in to a position. But Umar is just one step ahead. And that's what these Dagestani guys are. That's what these Caucasus wrestlers are, is like, or maybe even not even a Caucasus wrestler thing, because we see a lot of it from like the team. This is the Team Habib type thing, where they are that bit better. Like, it's not like just because you have the surname doesn't make you good. Turns out having the Nurmagomedov surname does make you pretty fucking good, because it was like Mario was making a move and Umar's already there to the next position that he's got to escape. And it was like, once you're in that scramble with them, unless you're Merab and you can move faster than they can at a pace higher than they can. Once you're in that position with them, it's like they're on the next bit. Even Sandhagen did this. He was like Granby rolling over Umar Nurmagomedov's takedowns, and Umar would still find a way to be on his back or get his body lock and hold position and stay on top and get around an angle, get over his legs and get onto top position. So even though Umar won, I had him winning rounds 1 and 3. And there's even an argument like, he won the majority of round 2 anyway. But the one moment that is like oh my God, was when Mario fucking hopped on a fucking mushroom, woohoo, and caught him straight in the face with a jump knee. Down goes Umar Nurmagomedov to the ground. And that was the shocking moment, right? Because Umar's recovery is actually pretty damn good. It's been like twice he's been dropped like that now in fights. And go on.
No, right? Go.
No, and for lesser fighters, that's where they go, I've been dropped. I'm on my back now. But for Umar, he's like, oh shit, Habib's watching. He's back up on his feet. You don't want to be looking like a fool in front of your boy Habib. You can get a whooping backstage. I know that's coming for Umar. So yeah, he got dropped by Mario with that jump near, and he sort of sank to the ground and then went, oh shit, pop right back up, gets to it, shoots in. It's like, man, nearly had him there for a second. Same way, Almakun or Bekzat Almakun, I think his name is, caught him with a right hand just behind the ear. Umar got dropped for a second and then boom, just shoots straight in on the hips. Like, it's almost like they're just born to do that, is just get straight on their hips. Because second his eyes came back too, he was like, double leg. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he shot a fucking takedown on the midwife that delivered him out of the womb. You know what I mean? Like, his mum's squeezing. It's a fucking Dagestani. It's on me. Forget boy or girl that's coming out of this thing. He's like immediately shot out of there. Only the umbilical cord held him back. But yeah, second his eyes came back awake, he went straight in on the hips of Mario. But go on a bit more about Mario and Umar.
I think Mario impressed a lot of people because I thought, when Mario went there and actually took the fight to him, he had a lot of success. And like you said before, I don't think his stock went down any. I think people probably respect him even more now, right? And I think that was probably the biggest moment for him in that fight. Well, the biggest moment that impressed me was him not accepting the position, going for the toe hold, always trying to fight, making Umar work for that position. And when he threw that knee kick that kind of landed on the chin and dropped him, that was probably the best moments in him not giving up. But when I watched that fight, the biggest thing that I took from that fight, and I was like, I'm curious what's going to happen when Umar fights Merab Dvalishvili next. Yeah. Because when you look at it too, Merab has been way more active. He's going to fight again before, Umar fights again, right? He's fighting in December. And we're seeing Merab get better and better and better. You look what Merab did to Corey Sandhagen and what Umar did to Corey Sandhagen. He took the fight. He almost knocked out Corey Sandhagen, right? And when him and Umar, if Merab gets past Peter Yan, which I'm predicting he will, when Umar and Merab fight again, I bet you Merab is going to force the fight to stay on the feet, and I would not be shocked. I'm going on it. I'm going to say it now. I would not be shocked if Merab knocks out Umar.
Yeah, or at least drops him in the fight. Go give the reason why.
At least drop him in the fight. The reason why is because Merab he has an answer for the wrestling. He can. That was when they first fought. He was able to stuff the takedown, or if he got takedown, pop up to the feet, and they will start engaging again. Merab has got more comfortable on the feet and throwing way heavier hands, where he's gonna force Umar to do that. Where Bautista was trying to force Umar to do it, and what did Umar do? He went to the wrestling. He was like, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna go to the wrestling. Yeah. I think Umar's gonna be able to do that to Merab, and Merab's gonna force him to stay on the feet. So after watching that fight, I was like, I think Merab could potentially knock out Umar Nurmagomedov if he's able to. If Merab is able to fight Umar like he fought Corey Sandhagen, I think Merab can potentially knock out Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, or at least hurt him on the feet enough to be a factor in the fight and how it's judged. My thing is with Umar, you said Merab did beat up on Sandhagen, which Umar never did, but
no.
Merab did lose rounds to Corey Sandhagen, which Umar never did. So it is a thing to where, is Umar going to be able to get those first three before Merab really kicks in? But it seems like Merab's kicking in sooner these days. It's it used to be a thing where, oh, dude, once round 3 comes along, you're in some real trouble with Merab. But now I feel like he's just sort of all right, round 2's on, I'm going to get going. I've had my feeling out round. So it's that balance of, is Umar going to be able to sort of keep Merab at bay for long enough to get the points he needs, or is Merab going to get going sooner enough to where this isn't just a win, it's a dominant performance? And I like what you said about the hands. He's thrown with a lot more mustard on his shots, we like to call it, where he throws with a lot more heat on his shots, where he just sort of stings him in. And one thing I loved about this, and I was going to mention this in the Mario Bautista fight, is there were moments in the fight where Umar would get back up from a wrestling exchange, and this is Umar's body language, but he did the same thing against Merab as well. He kind of starts hunching over a bit, and his arms, he kind of starts trying to get rid of the lactic acid out of his arms. And guys pick up on that, and Merab picked up on it, and he started throwing right hooks to the body on Umar a ton, and he landed so many of them. If you watch back Merab versus Umar, he was ripping rear right hooks to the body on Umar so much in that fight. Eventually he ended up bringing it upstairs and stinging Umar in round 5 and then pointing at him. But he kept ripping these right hooks to the body. I wish strikers that fought wrestlers that have done all that hard work to get separation understood the value in going to the body with hooks. Even though it's risky, and even though, it's risky to just go into the body because you could get clipped, especially with Umar's lead head kick or whatever he could catch you with while you dip into that. It's something you have to risk, because I honestly believe this. I don't think I've heard people must have said this before, but I've always said this. If you go to the body against a guy who you know is going to shoot on you once you pressure him, you swing over the top, he's on your hips. If you go for the head and he shoots under, he's on your hips. If you go with a hook to the body, when you're fighting a wrestler that's been constantly shooting, not only do you land and it can affect the cardio of them, that's going to make their posture worse, and then you can deal with the takedowns a little bit better. But if they do shoot when you go for that punch, you kind of have a natural underhook in a way. If you've thrown at their body and they try and shoot under what they think might be a punch coming their way, and you're actually winging it to the body like Merab was sneaking in on Umar, which he did so well. When Umar would try and shoot in to stop the pressure of Merab, when he was going to the body like that, Merab would kind of just land that body shot and then just go, right, underhooks there. Underhooks there. I can stop that takedown. I can shoot my own single leg, dunk him, point him on the ground. So I wish Mario would have gone to the body more, but I think that's what Merab did well. And I think that's something that Umar's team are going to have to be like, right, we got to figure out a way to punish him for constantly going to that body, whether it be something mean and nasty on the feet, whether it be a different way of shooting, a different way of engaging. But yeah, I'm intrigued by the rematch. I will say, let me know what you think about this. Not now. Umar won more, I think.
Ooh. Who did he fight, though? Who did he fight?
Figueiredo. O'Malley's an option, but I doubt they do it.
I will love that fight. I think the rumors on the streets is that I think it's gonna be Sonya Dung versus Sean O'Malley.
I might have started those rumors, by the way. I don't know.
I think they're listening to you. I think are you working in the matchmaker room with the UFC? I think you might be, Guru.
I wish it'd be a fucking easy job. I don't know how they get paid so much for it. Jesus.
But I love the Sean versus Umar or Sonya Dung. So I think they might do that. I think the only problem you're going to run into is that Merab loves to be active. He loves to be active. So they're just giving people like Peter Yan. I can't remember the last time who he fought, but they're just giving Merab people. So if Merab gets past Peter Yan, and then the rumors is that Sonya Dung versus Sean O'Malley might happen in January. So if that happens, Umar likes to take a long time off before he fights again. He's not like an active fighter. He's not fighting 3 times a year or shit. You'd be lucky enough to see him fight twice a year. So I think you can see, maybe Umar just fought. We're in October. So Sonya Dung and Sean fight in January. Then I can see those two locking heads in March, April, maybe April or May. That sounds pretty good. And
Umar says he wants another fight before Ramadan, which is what, February, I think, Ramadan?
Yeah, so that's going to be kind of hard because Sean I would love to see him fight Sean. I would love to see him fight Sonya Dung. I think those are good opponents for him to fight. Yeah, but I would love to see him. I wouldn't be mad if he got to fight one more time. Why not? But I just think the only that throws a monkey wrench in there is that how active Merab likes to be. Like Merab just loves to fight, Or they can have Merab fight. Shit, why not fight Sonya Dung? Or whoever. He could fight the winner of if let's say Talabot beats him Cejudo, give him that. Like,
no,
why not? Shit.
But this is what it becomes, right? And I know what you mean because of the activity of Merab. It's just like, right, who in the 7 to 10 range? We got to feed him something because I feel like he's just sort of like clawing at the doors of the matchmaker's office, and they're going, "No, scram, shoo," like he's a pest.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like they're chasing Merab with a broom out of the matchmaker's office. Like, we got nothing for you here. Like, give us 6 months. Let me build a contender for you. Don't ruin these guys. But that's what I think. That's why I think Umar should do one more because sure, Merab can be active, but there's activity to a fault. Where sure, it's fun and it's great that he's doing 4 fights in a calendar year. I think they said he was the first one to do that, but Tito Ortiz also did it before. But he just did it with one of the fights coming in a previous year. So he did it across 365 days, but Merab's done it in a calendar year. But the activity is just like
you can't. I don't think the matchmakers can keep up. They just literally cannot keep up. So the only way they can, like in this timeline that you were discussing, is you after Merab if he beats Peter Yan. I don't want to say he's already beat him. If he beats Peter Yan, you got to put him on ice. Send his ass on a world tour. Let's work on sponsorship. Let's get him in a fucking movie. Let's get him outside of the gym. That way they can focus on, I'm just talking about like me and you, like we run the UFC. They can focus on building.
You revealed our secret.
I know, right? Fuck.
No. What?
No, well,
my bad. We told Gane to eye poke him, dude. That was the plan all along, dude. Yes. But yeah, I know what you mean. Send him on a world tour.
Yes.
Give him a parade in Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. That way we can focus on who's going to be truly next for him, and give Umar another opportunity to fight somebody. Because after he beats Peter Yan, now that you mention it, is Umar truly their number one contender? Like, I don't feel like that fight between him and Bautista was like Dana says, make me feel that this should be for the number one contender. I like your idea. Let's get him one more to make me feel this is going to be what it's going to be. So I think the only way it's going to happen is it's Merab's activity that's making it hard for that to happen. Because Merab, like, I don't give a shit. Give me him. I beat him. I smash him again. Right?
He said he's going to shoot me.
Yeah.
Give me him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like his activity needs to be quenched. Like, fucking hit him with a broom, get him out of the matchmaker's office for a bit. The guy's camping outside of the fucking matchmaker's office at this point. So just fucking scram. Get out of here, you. And we'll say, you know what? The White House card. Will you wait for the White House card, Merab?
Oh, fuck you would.
This sounds good. For a visa? For a visa, maybe? And maybe he'd do it for a visa. I don't know if he's got his visa yet. I'm sure he does at some point, but you know, we're giving a green card, dude. Green card's up for grabs. There's got to be something you can sort of like lure Merab with to be like, no, not 8 weeks from now, please. Yes. We have no one.
Yes.
We're going to have to, we can't give you Amy and Zahabi, Merab, for fuck's sake, please. For the love of God. So they just, we can't run that, Merab. It can't be on a pay-per-view. We need to work these guys up.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've got to give Umar one more. I think Song Yadong. Because Figueiredo to me would be like, if Umar beats Figueiredo, I think he'd be like, Figueiredo's deteriorating a bit at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
I like to see I like to see Figgy back down at 125. I think he's better suited for that division just because I felt what made him scary in that division is because he hit so fucking hard. I think the guys at 135, he can hurt them, but they're able to absorb way more damage. Where when he hit Joseph Benavidez and he has a win over Alex Pantoja and he has athleticism, he has the grappling ability, but I think the weight cut is just so hard for him. But I think his power transfers over well in 125, and he's able to take the shots from those guys in 125. And there's still some compelling matchups between him and Brandon Moreno, even though they went back and forth a couple times. So I like to see Figueiredo at 125, where I think the Song Yadong or Sean O'Malley, I think that's the best matchup for Umar Nurmagomedov. You got a big name in Sean O'Malley, very trickster on the feet. Granted, we've seen Sean O'Malley has a weakness on the grappling ability, but hopefully after the last fight with Sean versus Merab, hopefully Sean's taking some time to really work on that wrestling ability. And if Sean beats Umar and he's able to stop every takedown, knock out Umar Nurmagomedov, Sean's on the mic. He goes, I'm the one who could beat that fucking machine. Give me that fight. Yeah. He has a big star. He's already a big star. I could see them doing a third fight versus Merab, or if Song Yadong's able to go out there and just out-grapple, out-throw Sean O'Malley. He's been working a lot of his judo, been following him and seeing it. It's looking great. He fights Umar Nurmagomedov. He's fucking out-grappling Umar, throwing him on his head. Song Yadong goes, I think I deserve a shot. I just feel what you said in motion can really play out to be a very, very good option for Merab.
Yeah. Delay Merab, no Figueiredo. I feel like Figueiredo is going to stay at bantamweight because the weight cut to 125 is so tough for him. But I also feel like Figueiredo's in the business of like, let me get paid. You know, I don't think Figueiredo's really thinking next fight I win, I'll be ready for Merab at this point. So I'd like to see Umar fight a young Song Yadong that is we can assume that Song Yadong will be improved from his last fight based on how young he is.
Yep.
I think Song Yadong is like 25 years of age. I know I think all Asian people are like a year older than us, right?
A year older than us? Oh, because
I think Chinese people
because they start
called one when they're born, right?
Yes, because the 9 months of 9 months to be born, and so they're a year older. But he's still young in his
27.
Career. 27,
he's 27. I feel like he's been around for ages as well.
Yeah,
he's 27. So I feel like you can assume he's still a young, improving fighter. So if Umar goes out there and beats him, now we can talk, and it hypes it up even more, and it sort of gives the time for Peyton Tabet to get up there, for maybe a Zahabi to get up there, for another one of these prospects in a division to get to the top. Yeah. And provide some kind of new challenge for Merab. Whereas if they burn it all now, we're looking down to number 9 in the rankings for an opponent. And it's just like, this is a mess. Yep. This is a real mess. So I think give Umar Song Yadong, give O'Malley, Amy and Zahabi, or, the winner of Cejudo Tabet.
Yeah.
O'Malley versus Tabet, O'Malley versus Cejudo. The shit talking's there. Maybe give O'Malley Figueiredo. Yeah. That's also a good fight. That's a fun fight for Figueiredo as well. I think that's something that would interest him, a striker, someone who's going to mix up with him on the feet a little bit. So, there's a lot to do. Or O'Malley Sandhagen, which people have wanted for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, in January. Because you got to consider, Umar wants to fight before Ramadan, which is in the middle of February.
Yep.
UFC Paramount card is in Las Vegas, or no, is in Los Angeles. The first one in January is in LA. California. O'Malley fights out of Arizona. That's local to him-ish enough, right?
Yeah.
California is like a local state-ish, a neighboring state to him.
Yep.
Then you've got Umar Nurmagomedov wants to fight before Ramadan, January. Also, AKA is in LA.
LA, yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
It
So
can
that
happen.
works as well.
Yeah, it can happen.
Because you got to think about those things with like what states they want to pay taxes in, if they're going to have to get a flight.
You don't want to fight.
You,
you don't want to fight in California because they're going to tax you 8% off top of your purse right off the fuking rip. So nobody likes fighting California. So
you know what I mean? Local.
Yes,
local can be a benefit because AKA is in the Bay Area, but close enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Little difference, isn't it? Nick, like there's a difference. I don't know what the Bay Area is, but yeah, I guess it's close to LA, but same state, right?
Yep, same
so I'm
state.
just thinking local wise. He knows the roads. He's from there.
Yeah.
But locally, that's what would work, And then you could have Umar at AKA, his whole fight camp, and then he just sort of gets down to the Bay Area, enjoys some coconuts on the beach. So that's a good one. But now we can move on.
Just so
now we've discussed all of that.
There's no coconuts on the beach in LA. Even though there's palm trees, there's no coconuts. But
they sell them.
Oh, they do.
Ship them in.
That's true.
From Hawaii. You know what I mean? They'll sell them there.
Yeah.
They'll do something. They'll figure something out for the great Umar Nurmagomedov. If he wants coconuts, he's getting his coconuts. Okay, that's what Umar says. But yeah, we can, that's what I think. Give it time, let it brew, let it build. Because I saw that and I thought, oh, you're breathing heavy. Merab's licking his lips.
Yeah.
Oh, Mario Batista's giving you resistance in the grappling. That doesn't bode. I need to see him lock down someone in the grappling. Show more control. Have them make less, like I know Mario Batista's good, but we're talking about fucking Merab Dvalishvili here. That's the problem that we have in this division, where you can look good against Mario Batista, look good against him, but this is fucking Merab. This is a different beast that we're dealing with here. So, and also he got dropped. So if he would have finished Umar, or if he would have choked him out, and now we're like, oh, Umar's been working on his submission game. Umar's been working on his back takes and positional control. Although he did show some of it. Yeah. I just think the narrative could be more if he's coming off a finish. Yeah. If he's coming off of a greater win where he doesn't get knocked down and it's bruised, because things brew. Yeah. Even though the fights happen, narratives are what makes this sport constant, where even when it's a dead weekend, like these next 2 weekends are fucking dog shit cards. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end. But these next 2 weekends are so bad that narratives are what all we'll have to warm us by the campfire while we're in a wasteland of the UFC these next 2 weeks. So,
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that. But we can move on to Volkov Almeida.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm shocked that Almeida did not get the decision. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm not.
10 minutes, I think it was 10 minutes and 48 seconds of control time. Imagine that. I controlled you more than half of the fucking fight. Like, when I saw that, I almost, I feel we're in a point now, and I had Luke Thomas on the show. I feel like we're in a point now that we totally disregard jiu-jitsu and a certain aspect that I'm so tempted to come out of fucking retirement and fight somebody and not land one strike on them. Like, just slip, take him down, hold him, pass his guard, hold him. He turtles, get his back, hold him. And then he turns, hold him, round ends, shoot, take him down, hold him the whole fucking time. Not even punch him. Not even try to submit him. And they get up and I want them to raise my hand. And they're like, oh my God, Demetrious Johnson, you beat him by controlling him. I was like, yeah. I could have broke his fucking neck. I could have punched him in the face. But I feel like after watching that fight, granted, I'm not saying Johnson Almeida is some grappling guru who went out there and passed his guard, got to side control, mounted him, postured up, did a John Jones elbow from 12-6. He didn't do all that, but he controlled this man for more than half of the fight. 10 minutes and 48 seconds. Viewers, let me remind you guys, the fight is 15 minutes, okay? If you're in bed with your wife and you're pounding it for 10 minutes and 48 seconds and she gets up after 15 minutes and says, that was horrible work. Got to rethink that. But I'm shocked that he did not get...
Crazy. I mean, honestly, the way Jailton was fighting, it was kind of in a romantic sense in a way. So I don't mind the comparison there. Crazy analysis there from the great Demetrious Johnson. I hear what you're saying. He did control him in a way as if you're pounding someone through the mattress here, guys. And then they somehow raise their hand, which is crazy because you put in all the work. But I just feel like scoring wise, sure, you yap about control time, DJ, and this is where we're going to have a disagreement here. You can talk all you want about control time, you know?
Yeah.
Talk all you want about control time. The Lion doesn't concern itself with the control time, okay? Alexander Volkov himself, he doesn't care for your control time, dude. He's going to beat you up from bottom. That's what happened there, DJ. That's what we witnessed there. Alexander Volkov getting busy on bottom, smashing him. And here's the moment, and that's how the fight is scored, and Jailton Almeida knows that, DJ. And it's time we all knew that. You need to work. I do agree that maybe Goddard stood it up a bit too much. Like 1 or 2. And, you know, we can talk about stand-ups. I know Luke Thomas had an opinion on stand-ups that maybe might tie into this.
But I remember that. He stood him up, and what did Jailton Almeida do? He shot him, put him back on his... It's like... And this is the hardest thing that I have, like, when I watch this, is that even one of my buddies who I grapple with, he goes, people who say that, and I understand where Luke Thomas came from, people have never grappled in their life if they don't realize that if you take me down and you're in my half guard and I can't get up, it's not his fault. It's not the guy's fault who's on top of me if I can't get up. He's keeping me there, right? And so, granted, when Volkov had that Kimura and Jailton Almeida didn't do anything because Volkov never transitioned. He never scooted his hips out. He never brought the foot over his hip to force him doing things. So Jailton Almeida's like, okay, you're trying to submit me, but you don't have the correct bite. So I'll sit here and just chill and relax, right? People, I understand, like, it's a hard problem to solve because there are people who are using their grappling ability to be able to stall the matches. But at the same time, is it a sport or is it entertainment, right? There's that fine line where if I'm playing basketball and I'm like, there's a shot clock, so you can't just hold the ball. But there has to be a point where, like, when are we going to reward the grappling? Like, why keep track? Why keep track of control time if it doesn't mean anything, right? Like, I just feel like, when I watched it, I was just like, man, I come from I don't come from a grappling background, but when I see it, I'm like, he controlled you for 10 minutes, 48 seconds, right? Him doing this doesn't really, it's not a significant strike, right? I don't know. It can go either way, but I know how everything's structured. It's like damage, combination, control time. So it's like, but what's damaging? Like, it's just such a hard thing. But I just wish Volkov was able to defend the takedown, to not let him control him for 10 minutes and 48 seconds. Like, when I see that, I'm like, holy fuck, man, 10 minutes, 48 seconds. Like, one, how did Jailton Almeida didn't finish him? Like, how come he didn't transition and move to a different position, right? He didn't have to because he felt those significant strikes weren't really hurting him. It's like, oh God, you're hitting me. I don't feel like I should move. I feel more comfortable staying on top of you. Then it almost kind of praised premise of what DC said. Jailton Almeida can't fight. You hear that, right? Like, so. Yeah.
Can't fight. He can't fight. But whispering directly into Tom's microphone on his neck, by the way. Genius moves from DC. But either way, that is the criteria, though. So what I'm saying is that is an opinion. Yeah, the control time should win. But the judges did follow the criteria for once and say, he's actually not doing anything. And also, something that we're not talking about is, Jailton, throw a punch.
Yeah, I think he
throw a punch.
He threw 9.
You had such dominant control. 9. Yeah.
9. What?
9 and a minute of control time. And some of those were round 1. Crazy.
But
but go on.
But here's the thing. You give an athlete the opportunity to fight on the platform. This is one thing so here's the thing. The UFC can pick and choose who they want to hire and who they want to fire. Meaning, the last guy who beat Marcus Buchecha, I believe it was his first. He beat Marcus Buchecha, and they cut him from the UFC. He threw more punches than fucking Jailton Almeida. So why?
Martin Bidet.
Yeah. Why not fire Jailton Almeida if you guys want people who are going to be well-rounded, who will go out there and take a risk and throw punches and all that stuff? why are you keeping him? He's shown to you guys he can't punch. He won't punch.
Exactly.
But
get rid of him.
So get rid of. If that's what you guys don't, you know what I mean. So I feel like
I agree.
Like
here's where we agree, DJ.
Yeah,
why are we keeping Jailton Almeida on the roster? No. Finally, we meet in the middle and we agree, DJ, on this topic. Why? You're correct. Get rid of him, dude. Put him PFL.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
What I'm getting
That's what we need to do.
What I'm getting at is that if I'm a business and I want fucking banger after banger after banger after banger, I'm not gonna sign a guy who's a grappling phenom, and he's not gonna look to finish somebody, right? Even though he has a lot of submission victories, right? But that only works to a point when you get to upper echelon of competition. So if he can't grapple his ass off at the higher upper echelon, then I'm not gonna put him in there. Right? It's like, but maybe they made that match like, hey, maybe he's going to be able to submit Volkov, or maybe Volkov's going to be able to knock him out. I don't know. But if the UFC doesn't want to have these grappling phenoms get to the upper echelon and not be able to use their grappling, ability, then don't make the match or don't sign him. I don't know. But I feel that like grappling is getting such a bad rap in mixed martial arts because of performances like this, right? Like maybe if he would have did what Umar Nurmagomedov did and took his back, body triangled, sit there and did this,
punch, fight for rear naked,
maybe everybody wouldn't be so sand in their pants, right? But that's not the case. He took him down, controlled for 10 minutes, and people are just like, whatever, But it is what it is. I mean, there's only so much you could do. I mean, I love the stand up, right? It's like you stand me up, I shoot a double leg, we're right back in the same spot. The only way they can fix that is like, don't fucking shoot a double leg ever again. You can't shoot anymore. You've lost that ability. You shoot, I'm docking a point. That's the only way that they're going to be able to ban people from shooting, because you take me down, I can take it down easily, so I'm going to shoot again. You're going to stand us up, I'm going to shoot again. So that's my only problem with that. It's like you stood him up, he shoots again, right back in the same spot. I was like, you really accomplished something there. But here's the thing: you're giving Volkov a chance to get back to his feet where he's gonna be more dominant. I just don't like that aspect of, I can't do anything here. Either can you. You know what? I'm gonna give you a chance to get where you're good at, where I'm gonna have to work to get you back on your back. That's the only problem I have with that whole stand-up ability. But
I agree.
Who am I?
I agree. However, I have my own takes on this. Okay, and there's some hot takes coming in. Okay, so brace yourself, DJ.
I'm ready.
Because I know you're passionately defending this Jailton Almeida guy. You said this gives grappling a bad rap in MMA. I'll tell you what this does. This makes grappling look way better in MMA. Okay, and let me tell you why. Jailton Almeida lowered the standard so fucking low. But I put out a formal apology to Khamzat Chimaev on Twitter. I'll be honest. I say, you know what, Khamzat? You were throwing vicious ground and pound shots. You were destroying Dricus du Plessis on top position. Even though at the time we thought, it weren't crazy. He was mainly trying to keep control. He could have done a bit more. I think Jailton actually did a lot of these guys a favor. So you as a grappling fan in MMA should be like, thank you, Jailton, for being that fucking boring. That everything else is going to be up from here. You know what I mean? Because let's just really go over what happened in that fight. He didn't do anything with control. Yeah. It was almost Ben Askren. Ben Askren's tweeting out saying, this guy fucking stinks. Where's the violence? Ben Askren is saying this. No offense to Ben Askren. I hope he gets better. He's on the mend. He's on the road to recovery.
He's looking great.
But from his career, if Ben Askren's calling you a pacifist, there's a problem with your game. Ben Askren was tweeting out something saying like they should have gave this to Volkov. Like, what is Jailton Almeida trying to be a pacifist in the MMA fight? Because there were so many moments where he had full control of Volkov, where we don't ask for much. No. We're still going to complain. But if he would have just went, chill, few to the body, chill. He didn't need a submission attempt. If he just did that, he would have won. Yep. But I think the judges are like, is this cunt trying to make a fucking point? To like not score anything but control here, because Volkov is working off of his back, and something that a lot of people didn't really consider in that third round. And this is how I scored it. I scored it to Volkov 2-1. And my understanding of the criteria when I'm watching it, I'm saying they should give this to Volkov 2-1. They probably won't. And I will say this. If Jailton Almeida's name was Jailtonov Almeidarov, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now, and everyone knows this, he's winning that fight unanimous decision. 100% he wins that fight unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And that's just an unfortunate reality of the sport. But he doesn't have that name benefit for the scorecards, unfortunately for him. And my take is Volkov won the first round. I think that no one's arguing that, right?
Yeah.
Volkov reversed him, actually. Volkov actually hit a nice little reversal with a butterfly hook.
Yep.
And I thought, oh my God, Volkov, 6'8", 6'7", whatever height he actually is. There was a whole narrative about that. He's actually like hitting a butterfly hook and twisting over. He hit like a bit of a Craig Jones get up. You know what I mean?
Almost, they call that octopus guard, kind of octopus guard.
Yeah. Octopus guard. JDM uses it. Volk does it a lot as well. It's what JDM, Craig Jones kind of seeps into the MMA world to deal with the Dagestani grapplers. But he hit like a bit of an octopus guard and got onto top position, and he's like smashing Jailton Almeida with punches. Round one, he wins the round.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked by because I thought, oh my God, Almeida's took him down right away. This is over. Okay, he's going to do this. This is going to be the fight. And Volkov got top position, landing good shots. So I gave Volkov round one. Almeida also hooked the glove in that round. And then Goddard watched him hook the glove and said, "Oi, get your fingers out the glove." And he starts going up to him, prying Almeida's fingers out of the glove. Almeida's still keeping him in there. And he's fighting against Almeida to get him out the glove. Doesn't take a point, even though it stopped a bunch of elbows that could have landed. So that was maybe a sour taste for a lot of people on Almeida in the first round. So then the last two rounds are where he did a lot of the control. Even though he had 2 minutes in the first, Volkov also had like 2 minutes of control. Round two, he wins. Volkov didn't do that much. Almeida did some damage on top. He punched a few times. He landed some shots on the feet. I think they stood it back up, and Almeida actually caught him with a punch and then shot into a takedown again. But round three, there was a moment in round three where Volkov did get back up after Almeida did nothing on top. And he got back up and he got Almeida against the cage and he was smashing him to the body with knees. I think he landed like 5 or 6 tie clinch, single collar. He had single collar to stop Almeida circling to the open side of the cage. And he had wrist control on Almeida on the other arm as well. So he had him pinned against the cage and he was smashing knees into the body of Almeida. And there was a few big solid knees that he landed. And then Almeida got the takedown. Now, when I'm watching a fight, I think, okay, Volkov's ahead on the points now. He's done the damage. Almeida's got the takedown. Let's see if Almeida works the points back in his favor. I score fights by minutes. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Because you're like, okay, he was slightly ahead, but now he's ahead. Like, I don't look at the end of the round and go, who won that round? Yeah. I think while I'm watching the fight, he's ahead, but now he's caught back up. Now this guy's caught back up. And now this guy's caught. And now, by the end of it, the guy overtook him. And now I think he actually did more. But Almeida gets on top. And that is points. You get on top, you get control. It's points. Then what happens? Nothing. Volkov nonstop hits him in the face. And that is a reality. He nonstop punched him in the face. Elbows, framing on his face, elbow. I think Almeida was doing, at most, he was like punching and missing. But at most, he was like elbowing the body while Volkov had wrist control on him, which is annoying to deal with, of course, and it does hurt. But I just think the judges are looking at that and going, right, if we never separated this, is Volkov just eternally hitting him in the head while Almeida's laying there in full guard? Like if we, like, really though, because that's the narrative when you see, Joe Rogan says this all the time, like, that if you can't get up, that's how it would have been. You would have never got back up. But I argue back in this Jailton Almeida specific case that I wouldn't argue for other grapplers typically. Like if Chimaev DDP never got separated, well, round 5 DDP actually had dominant position, but if the earlier rounds, if they never ended, we would still be in that crucifix, and it would just be Chimaev punching him, and eventually DDP would just perish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it would be over. But in this specific case, which is why I think this specific case it works, it would have been Volkov eternally hitting Almeida in the head while he did nothing on top. So I get your point, and I get your point in general that control time does mean something. It does. It means a lot. If you're controlling someone, it does mean a lot. But it doesn't mitigate. It doesn't mean that you have no intention of being in a fight. Like it is scored as a combat sport. It is. And also, I'll argue this back to you. You're in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition. The guys on bottom ever win?
Yeah.
They do. Guys on bottom, they scoot to their back to start the fight because they think if I outwork this guy from bottom, even if he has control over me, I'll win.
Yep.
I'll win because I'm threatening things, because I'm going for things. And that's what Volkov was doing.
Yeah.
He was going for an omoplata. He was trying to Kimura grip on Jailton at one point.
Yep.
He was like trying to hook a leg and go for something. And he was smashing him with elbows from that angle as well, like Oliveira was doing to Dariush. So I do think there is a strong argument for Volkov there. But I do hear your point that watching it, you're like, well, he controlled him the whole time. So
yeah, now
that's a big deal.
Well, now that you know, when you talk about the grappling aspect of grappling, they would have gave Volkov an advantage. But since this is grappling, but since Johnson Almeida took him down, he would have been up 4-6 points. And so they would have won it. Johnson Almeida would have won that match at a grappling ability just because he actually forced a position, put him in a bad position, and able to succeed in that position by taking him down. Where Volkov would have got an advantage. Oh, you went for a submission, you didn't secure it, and you didn't change that position. When he did the octopus guard, he would have got 2 points because he was able to sweep him because he came in more down position. But you going for a submission and not getting it, it would have given him an advantage. So even in the grappling ability, the grappling world, Johnson still would have won. But I get where you're coming from, where, you know, the punches, the damage off of bottom, they're scoring that.
I think that's the difference. I know what you're saying about grappling, because Jailton still nearly had the back at one point and one hook in.
Yeah.
He did do some stuff, but that's my argument, is that there is a difference between how we score wrestling in MMA compared to how we score wrestling in pure wrestling, and how we score grappling in MMA compared to how we score grappling and pure grappling. And that difference is who's getting busy. Yeah. Who's working. And Volkov was working. And let me tell you this, Almeida, we're not asking for much. Yeah. I really think if Almeida just at the end of the round, when you know you've got him, full control, he's not getting back up, 10, 20 seconds left, if Almeida just went, bah, 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 that's all it would have taken. 4. Yep. And the judges would have been, you know what? Yeah, we'll give Almeida. But it's because he made a point not to. I feel like the judges were like, ugh, you're intentionally trying to lose this. You're throwing this, you're not doing what you should easily be able to do here. Yeah. But
here's my counter argument to that. Right?
Go on.
I like where you're going at. But imagine, like, okay, let's say I'm fighting Merab, right? Merab blasts a double. He takes me down. I go to knee shield, and I go backhand, back, this hand, back. Whatever Merab does, he never lands a significant strike on me off his back, right? Like, he's holding me, he goes to half guard, and he's trying to get punches. I'm blocking. I kick him in the belly. I'm just fucking Merab up off my back, right? This is a fantasy life. And I'm beating him up, right? And then he passes my guard. I turtle. He goes for the the darts. I defend the darts. We get up. Boom, we're back up. I start moving again. I throw a right hand. He takes me down. Beautiful blast and double leg. I land on my back. He's in my guard. I elbow. I go to knee shield. Bop, bop. I'm fucking him up. Boom, boom, boom. I get up, but they score the fight for Merab because he just out-wrestled me. He out-wrestled me, did nothing. So what I'm getting at is that, okay, if I do get taken down, I accept the takedown. I mean, you were talking about this part in London. Yep. Just because you get a takedown, it doesn't mean you are in a dominant position. I'm able to use that takedown against you and put up frames and barriers where you're hitting my body, but I'm hitting in the face. Now we're going off. What are the judges thinking is more of a significant strike, right? Because when I fought Adriano, I did most of my best work off my back when he took me down in the second fight. So I think there needs to be a clear cut of, like, what is deemed a good position, because that's why I never cared about getting taken down, because it's like, you're not going to pass my guard. Like, if you do, it's going to be at the very end of the round, which he did. But I think there just needs a clear cut of, okay, I get it. Right? Like, after sitting there watching the Jota MMA fight, I was like, I like that control time, but he didn't do dick squat. So it's like, but I'm torn. It's like, well, he controlled it for 10 minutes, so I don't know what to do. And then it's like, those shots on the bottom aren't like banger shots, but I feel like there has to be something to be rewarded where, like, we rewarded activity off the bottom. That's what I feel like we did this time. I feel like we rewarded somebody who fucked somebody up from their back, and we're like, good job. Even though he controlled you for 10 minutes, you beat the shit out of him for those 10 minutes that you're being controlled in, we're going to reward you this fight. But there needs to be a clear cut where it's like, hey, guys, you take this person down, congrats, you landed a takedown. But if we don't see any activity whatsoever, You're not trying to pass guard. You're not trying to get the side control. You're not going to knee on belly trying to rain down some punches. Yeah. Don't even bother about having a hard on about that takedown. You might as well stand the fuck back up. That's what I think they did with this fight. And hopefully they keep on doing this going forward, because we've been seeing in the past, Volkov versus Gane, the same thing happened. Where Gane won it and Volkov lost.
And Gane didn't do nothing off his back. So I know what you mean. And that's maybe, we disagree on this channel, but then we come together to where we can both be correct, because that's where it's more fun. But yeah, that's the argument. So that's where we can both be correct here, is that if that precedent wasn't set that you're talking about, it now is. Because Dern did the same thing to Jandiroba.
Yeah.
And that's how Dern kind of got it. She was getting busy off her back, and Jandiroba was getting on top and being like, oh, I can't really do anything here. Dern's just hitting her in the face. So I think if that wasn't set before this, it is. Yeah, it has been now. And I think that's what fighters are going to have to be conscious of, because I almost feel like they made an example out of Jailton. But I could see if they're in another place and there's different judges, two might give it to Almeida. Like it's one of those gray areas in MMA that maybe won't be a gray area anymore. Yeah,
they're like, oh, that wrestling was beautiful. Took him down at will, hold him down for 10 minutes. Oh, you got it. You're hit. Once again, it's based on a judge's discretion of what they feel is being more appealing in their eyes, or their But
I'll tell you what could fix the Jailton Almeida boring as fuck issue.
What's that?
Walter Walker's coming up at heavyweight. If we want to sort of scratch over the rest of the card, you seen the 4 heel hooks in a row?
Yeah.
You want to talk about someone who's going to get busy off bottom against the Jailton Almeida, where a matchup would be a fun watch?
I'm gonna give you something real quick. There's another athlete who did the exact same thing. 2 athletes.
Yep.
Paulo Harris. He was when he was tearing everybody's ankles. When he got to
not letting go.
Yeah.
Never letting go.
Jesus fucking God. He was like, ah! But there's a point in time in his career where he got to another echelon of athletes. What happened? Didn't work out well for him. Gary Tonin, another guy who got away with a lot of heel hooks. Not took advantage, but his grappling awareness was a lot higher. He got to somebody who knew what he was doing. They shut that shit down real quick. So if this gentleman can keep on the heel hook streak, and when he meets somebody who he can't heel hook and he has another tool in his back pocket, beautiful. But
Ryan Hall did this and then ran into Ilya Tapuria before we even knew about him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was like, oh shit, that heel hook shit ain't fucking. You need to stop him in Ari rolling. This guy's gonna KO you.
Exactly.
So it does change, but I think at heavyweight, the fact that he's consistently able to finish is always good to me, especially by submission, because most of the time you see these heavyweights grappling and it's like, fucking hell. Yeah. I feel like I'm watching 2 walruses fuck. You know what I mean? It's like a real bad look. I don't know if I've seen it, but there's some mods on Skyrim for the Hawkers that I don't want to talk about my past, but either way. But yeah, it sometimes does feel like that. You talked about Buchecha and I said Martin Bidet, because that was the guy who out-grappled him and got cut from the UFC. So Jailton, you best be praying at home right now they're not going to ship your ass off somewhere else, because he might be seeing KSW or Cage Warriors next. They might honestly put Jailton Almeida to Cage Warriors and just let him be a heavyweight champ there, because, I know what you mean. And I liked Walter Volker's submissions though, man. And you mentioned it with Paul Harris not letting go. Gary Tone and Ryan Hall did this as well, where they go for the heel hooks. But 4 in a row is a new standard.
It's impressive.
You know, it is. I don't think he's got better heel hooks than Gary Tone. I don't think so. Yeah, but obviously, just based on level, because it's different weights and different, you know what I mean? But I do think for a heavyweight, for a division that people said was just a bunch of fatties and they're all shit. Yeah. 4 consistent, get what you want immediately when you want it. It's like a striker constantly getting his KO in the first 2 minutes. Yeah. It's like Tom Aspinall coming up and smoking people on the feet. It's the same thing in a different realm. So I really like that from Walter Walker. And if we want to go through the rest of the card now, because we just skim over the rest of the card maybe.
Go ahead, baby.
The rest of the card was crazy. I don't know if you saw the whole card, but there were some wild moments that made it the greater card. Walter Walker's heel hook, and then he gets on the mic and he calls out, I don't know if you heard his call out, but he said, he's can crushing Walter Walker. So instead of calling out ranked fighters, he looks down. Hamdi Abdul-Wahab is like a morbidly obese heavyweight underneath the outside the rankings. And he fought Chris Barnett, who you might know.
Yep.
And he said, Hamdi Abdul-Wahab, you think you good out grappling that chocolate Peppa Pig? And he was going all off. He called him chocolate Peppa Pig. Crazy. Crazy bars from a guy who's not English, it ain't his first language. So he's calling out Hamdi. And maybe we can use that to say, I like Volta Walker, though, because if you think about it, Aspinall needs opponents.
Yeah.
Gane's now this guy who's like, could he beat him? Is it going to be evens next fight? Then you've got Volta Walker. What's Aspinall's only real loss? Heel hook submission from Stuart Austin on the regional scene. This guy, Aspinall, was like mid TKO in him, and he survived. And Aspinall kind of like over flurried, being young, inexperienced. And the guy hooked up a leg and heel hook submitted Tom Aspinall. And now you got this guy coming up in Volta Walker who's promotable, funny call outs, great on the mic, great in interviews, and he's getting nothing but heel hooks. It's like, oh, that's a narrative right there. Then you got Ante Delija, who's a teammate of Aspinall. That's a narrative right there coming up at heavyweight. You got Mario Pinto. I don't know if you saw him do the whole thing where he's like, I know big English. Anyway, guys, what's up, everyone?
I was like, sounds like good enough English for me.
Yeah, it sounds good. Now sounds like the Queen's English right there. But he was you've got these characters now at heavyweight, and they're good. Mario Pinto showed great grappling against Jonata Deniz. Really good grappling and control, just getting what he wants. Good double legs and doing work on top Jelton and getting a finish. And then he also had a good KO over Austin Lane before that. So you're looking at these up and coming heavyweights and you're thinking, hang on, we kind of got something here. We kind of got something in this division. There are some prospects coming through. But yeah, Volta Walker, did you watch Chris Barnett versus Hamdi Abdul-Wahab?
Each time I see Chris Barnett, I'm just like, why can't this man just, go on a nice diet, get something going for him? Yeah. Super athletic, but I just can't get past that part.
Yeah, just get in shape and be the bantamweight that you were meant to be.
I guess.
But that's the thing with Chris Barnett, man. It was so funny. I was laughing watching the fight, and I shouldn't be laughing watching a cage fight, but sometimes it does get like this a heavyweight. When Hamdi was on top and his tits were shaking around, it was cramped and pounded. You fucking nerd. I'm sorry. And then when Chris Barnett got taken down, taken down and he landed and he went, like he screamed. He screamed in pain. He actually screamed in pain. Like he got taken down and he went like that on the ground. Like you audibly heard that just from him falling over. It was like, oh my God, dude, what a mess. And then even when Hamdi got his back and Chris Barnett's shorts started coming down, I don't know if you got if there was one fighter on this card that maybe a lot of fans wish they could have got a glimpse of the cheeks, and that might have been someone in the co-main event. It wasn't Chris Barnett. That's not what we were signing up for. If you had to look at this card and think, well, Dern's fighting and Chris Barnett's fighting, whose cheeks do we want to see slip out in the middle of their fight? It wasn't Chris Barnett, dude. That's not the option because they were fighting and he gets back up and it's like, pull your fucking trousers up. What is going on here, man? Cheeks out in the fire, shooting up. And also another thing, his shorts were loose, which is something that might be a problem I don't think Chris Barnett faces often. His shorts were a little too loose. So in order to combat this, they had to tuck his belly into his shorts and tie it around his now new circumference that he had created around his waist, and and then his belly slipped. He it was like jelly slipping out of a container once you drop it out of the fridge. It was like Hamdi pushed him on the ground and his belly slipped out of his shorts, and it was just like, oh God, dude. Sludge on the canvas, like two proper slugs going at it, and his shorts. I just thought that was a funny fight that maybe I wanted to cover. Other than that, on the prelims though, Quillan Salkill, did you see his head kick? Yeah, I know you must have seen that one.
I didn't.
No. Man. Well, I'll mention it. Quillan Salkill, Australian. The Australians are doing really fucking good, by the way. They're like weirdly reliable that you can pick an Australian to win and they'll typically win these days. So Quillan Salkill's Nasrat Pras, he steps in short notice. He's heavy for the division as well. I think he had something like a 13 kilo weight cut, which is something like 28 pounds. He flew from Australia to Abu Dhabi, couple weeks notice to fight Nasrat Akparast, who's pretty good and has beaten controversially, but Esteban Ribovic, who people like, and Jared Gordon, who people like as well. So he's got some decent wins in a division. And Quillan Salkill, a couple failed single legs, and then bang, he catches him with the most brutal head kick. I would say the most brutal head kick of the year, but Huffy got the spinning kick on Bobby Green, which I think is going to be KO of the year regardless.
That was fucking nasty.
There's no way you're beating that. But that head kick was so nasty. Nasrat was out cold. I'm not kidding. They almost had to like try and wake him up before the main card started because he was out cold for like 4 minutes on the canvas. They were doing the interview. He was still there. It was actually kind of worrying. It was that nasty of a head kick. So shout out to Quillen Sal Killed for the nasty head kick win over Nasrat Akparast. Then you had, what else happened? I mean, not much that we should really go through. Delgado arguably should have won. I'll mention that just for the fans out there. But Wood's been robbed a couple times, so he deserves one his favor. And then Ludovic Klein and Mateusz Rebecki. Did you see Ludovic Klein? I should be a coach. Why is that?
Why should you be a coach for some of these fighters?
Ludovic Klein for the first 2 rounds against Rebecki. Let me set the scene. For the first 2 rounds against Rebecki, you need, as someone who likes MMA, DJ, I highly advise you, watch Ludovic Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. If you're a fan of striking in MMA, the way Ludovic Klein was moving in that first and second round, dipping out, the shots he was selecting, he had Rebecki doing this, jelly-legged, like on 3 different occasions in each round, I feel like. And he was patient. And every time Rebecki came in, he dips his head. So Klein was meeting him with a lead uppercut and then a left overhand. And Rebecki then dips his head to the outside. So Klein just throws the lead hook straight left. And it was like everything he did was such a perfect adjustment to the movements Rebecki was making. And you were like, oh my God, this is like some generational talent level striking that he's showing here. Because Rebecki's good. He's a tough guy, and he's fought some great fighters and had some good scraps. He beat Mike Topek Oroblai, who people consider a good prospect. And Klein looked sharp. But the reason why I should be a coach is in round 3, Klein's looking amazing. He's winning round 3 as well, but Rebecki's starting to get to him a little bit. Klein normally slows down. Rebecki gets a takedown, and Klein's foot snaps in half. 4 minutes left in the third round. His ankle snaps backwards. He's got 1 foot. He can't get up. And Rebecki stays on top of him for 4 minutes and loses the fight. If he would have just separated and stood it up and Klein couldn't get back up, which he couldn't, he would have won the fight. But he stayed on top punching. And Klein we'll talk about Volkov's groundwork, nothing compared to Klein. He was slashing open Rebecki off of bottom position with these nasty elbows, creating all kinds of new cuts on Rebecki's face, and he saved himself from a 10-8 round, which would have made the fight a draw. So that was a crazy fight. But
did he know that his ankle was broken? Did he know, like, I took it down, ankle snapped? Did he know that it was snapped? No. Oh, fuck.
He didn't. He knew something was wrong, though. He must have known something was wrong.
Yeah.
But when I watched it live, and this is why I don't get what corners are even fucking there for half the time. Because I see this a lot when I'm like, why aren't they telling him? Like, I know sometimes these guys don't listen and they get into the zone. But when I'm watching it live, I go, oh my God, Klein's hurt something. Yeah. No one knew it at the time. No one knew it because we didn't get the replay. And when you see the replay, you see his leg go like, you know when Mirko Krokop got head kicked by
you see his, by Gabriel.
Gabriel. And his leg, Gabriel Gonzaga, that's his name, Filipic, Mirko Filipic. But yeah, Gabriel Gonzaga head kicks him out cold and his leg snaps. It was like that, but off the takedown, and it like snapped his foot completely.
Yep.
And he looked to his corner, Klein, and he goes, something in Slovenian or Slovakian, should I say. And I immediately went, something's hurt on Klein. He can't get back up because he said it in a moment where Rebecki gave him space to get back up to maybe try and take him down again. And instead, Klein stayed on his knees and looked at his coaches and went, I'm fucked. Like basically, and I imagine it was some Slovakian for I'm fucked. Something is fucked. So I saw that and I went, he's injured. He could have got back up where he wants to be. And instead he's flopped to his back and let Rebecki into his guard. Must be something where he can't get up right now. So I would have been screaming at Rebecki watching that. If I was in his corner, I would have probably picked up on that and said, stand the fuck up. Stand the fuck up. I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than his corner team, but what I'm saying is I spotted that. And that was something that a massive mistake Rebecki made and his corner team made for not picking up on it.
I think one way you can solve that is because, in an octagon, it's boom, boom, boom. It's eight corners. And if, depending on where the fight took place, let's say, they're fighting and it's right here. The cornerman's here, and it's broken. He can't stand up. Something's wrong. Stand up. Something's wrong. I think a cool dynamic they can add to this is that if I'm stationed here, this is red corner, this is blue corner. If in the middle it's neutral, you can't go here. If I could walk around and be like, dude, get up, and be able to walk right here, get up.
That'd be cool.
That would be badass and cool, because sometimes when I'm even in a fight and I hurt somebody, I don't realize I hurt them. You know what I mean? Like you're in a fight, you have so many noise going on. You can hear certain cues and calls from his corner, from my corner, depending on where you're at, right? That's why you see some people like, the old school Matt Hughes, Frank Trigg, you pick him up, you run him, you throw him in front of your corner, and my corner man's right there, right? I never forget when I was fighting Tim Elliott and I was fighting him and I was right in front of James Krause and I can hear him. I looked at James Krause like, hey, how you doing, James? Imagine if like that happened and the cornerman is able to walk to him right here, like, hey, dude, like, stand up. His leg, like, hey, stand up. I think he can't stand up. And he goes, oh, really? Okay, let go. I think that's a cool dynamic they can add to mixed martial arts. That will be able to play cater to taking advantage of somebody being injured and my athlete not knowing.
Yeah. Exactly. So they can sort of move, have a bit more mobility than just being positioned in the same place.
Exactly. Because you can't move and try to scream across the octagon or a cage or a ring. It's super hard, especially people don't realize how massive it is when you get in there. It's like, it's
especially for non-heavyweights.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Exactly.
For like lightweights, featherweights and below, like there's a lot of space to cover in the octagon. This was in the center though, but I completely get your point.
Exactly.
But I just think I'd be screaming, get up, stand up. It's like, when Andre Sukumtat took down O'Malley, he actually knew he'd hurt his foot and he still did that fucking bullshit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, O'Malley got up. O'Malley was like, come on. He did get up. He did get up. He did get up, to be fair. Oh, Azamat Murzakanov, folks. Whoa, what a jab KO over Alexander Rakic on the main card. That guy's going to be a problem moving forward. I'd like to see him against some of these top contenders now. Maybe a Khalil Roundtree matchup. They're both short, stocky, powerful, explosive strikers. Azamat Murzakanov, a Dagestani guy, dad bod on him, a little bit deceptive to look at going into things compared to the 6'4", lean and mean Rakic that probably should take a move to heavyweight and beat up some blobs for a few years. But Murzakanov drops Rakic with a jab. Put him out. Rakic on the ground covering up. And this is a Rakic who went 29-28 with Ankalaev, so insane stuff from Murzakanov. What a KO win. I didn't see that one coming. All right,
your card's wrapped up.
Yeah. With all things considered, what would you grade this card? I give it, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I probably give it like a 6. A 6. Like, I think I think the ending was like, oh, damn, we waited so long. The McKenzie-Dern fight was a good fight, but, I just feel with Weili just not being the champion there, I felt like it was almost kind of like, oh, well, the best is not in that division anymore because she wants to go challenge herself. And then the Almeida fight was, and I think the only thing I was like, oh, that was a good fight. I was very impressed with Bautista, so I had to give it a 6. I was like, it was a good card. It was okay.
I agree with a 6 out of 10. I think maybe it could be diminished to a 5, but I think almost a part of the main event controversy kind of makes it a talk-aboutable card. There's so many people talking about the main event now because of what actually happened.
Yeah.
Than there would be if it was some boring decision that everybody hated. So I feel like it was a bad card, but the prelims I thought were really fun. And for me as like a content creator and a fight reactor in the Fight Companions, which hit, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I had 40,000 live viewers in the Fight Companions for the main event. So that was big time. So this card must have been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of fun moments to like discuss, and the broken foot in the climb fight, the Sal killed KO, and the Hamdi Abdul Wahab Chris Barnett slugfest in a different sense of the word, of meaning maybe two slugs having a festival with each other in the cage rather than a traditional sense. So I'd go with a 6 or a 5 out of 10 for sure. But now that we're done with this card, in just a couple of weeks' time, there's no current events because the next 2 weeks of UFC events are bland. But once we're on the other side of those next 2 weeks of Apex cards, there's a utopia in the distance.
Yes.
And that utopia is the great UFC 322. Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. It's JDM versus Makhachev in the main event. Shevchenko versus Zhang in the co-main event. DJ, kick it off with what you think about that main event.
If there wasn't a main event that had skill for skill technique for technique, somebody coming up from lightweight, Islam Makhachev getting the opportunity to go up to 170 to have that, double champ status. The UFC doesn't allow that anymore, but the double champ status, taking on a JDM where I feel like JDM was a dark horse, right? Not very known to the public, great technique, great grappling, but the beating he put on Bilal Muhammad, being able to finish him and just out jab him. A lot of people said that fight was going to be boring. It turned out to be a banger fight. For him to take on a guy like Islam Makhachev, not steering away from that challenge. Islam is coming up, so he's going to be, I feel like comparably size-wise, they're going to be about even, Islam's super good. JDM's got Craig Jones in the camp to, battle. And Volkanovski to battle that, Dagestani wrestling. It's going to be, it could be two things. It could be a very, very boring fight, or it could be a very, very exciting fight. Meaning by the way it could be boring is if Islam's able to take down JDM and get his back, hold him there, out grapple him, stifle him, he could potentially do that. But the one thing I love about JDM when he fights is he never accepted position. When he was fighting Gilbert Burns, great grappler, takes him down. Right when he gets up, he throws that knee into the void. Gilbert Burns ducks down into it. He runs into it. JDM doesn't accept the position when he gets taken down. He's always looking to grapple, always looking to anti-wrestle. That's what makes this fight exciting. And he's got some fucking good hands. He's not the way his boxing is, he's very tight. I'm excited for that fight just because we're seeing the best at 155 take on the best at 170. It's very rare when the moons align. Same thing at the co-main event. Shevchenko taking on Weili.
Let me have a turn in the main event.
Okay. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, get in there.
Don't just move on. I got things to say about this.
Let's go.
But Makhachev JDM, this one's special to me. Okay, I've been watching JDM since the regional scene when he was taken out. Some of the if you haven't seen it, go and watch back Jack Della Maddalena's regional KOs. Some of the nastiest KOs you'll see. He was destroying people on the regional scene. Started 0-2 in his career, went 10-2. After that, 10-fight win streak. And then since has been on a crazy win streak. I think he's on like a 17, 18-fight win streak now in his career, all the way through the UFC as well. I've picked him in every fight, and I'm going to pick him to beat Makhachev as well. Little spoiler for my own prediction video. But my take on this fight is amazing matchup. I think Makhachev... There's a narrative that Makhachev's ducking Ilia Topuria. But if Makhachev was not fighting Ilia Topuria because he wanted to defend his title against Max Holloway for a BMF belt, maybe I'd say, okay, he's ducking Ilia. He wants an easier matchup against a striker, maybe. But when Makhachev's ducking Ilia Topuria to take on Jack Della Maddalena at welterweight, upper weight class, you ain't ducking. And if you are, that's not a clever duck right there. That's a real dumb duckling. Because Makhachev's moving up to face a dangerous kind of Ilia Topuria, but bigger. Maybe not as like dynamic as Ilia is or the star that Ilia is, but if you're talking really tidy boxing and really good takedown defense and sprawls, you're talking JDM and Ilia Topuria in the sport. So this is a new test. My take on this fight is that this will be one-sided in either direction. That's my take. I don't think it can be boring. I know it could be, where maybe Makhachev does stall it out. But I think if Makhachev does have an advantage in the grappling, lighter man's skill is something that comes up a lot in MMA. And I think he will be able to use that into a finish. You said about his survivability against Burns, which was crazy because he broke his arm in that fight and still survived some really bad positions. I just think if Makhachev has an advantage, he will press it to a finish in the grappling early. But if JDM can shuck those off, he will press to a finish up against the cage because he's used to this weight class, and Makhachev's new to 170. And one thing you don't want to do if you're moving up to a weight class above you is immediately feel that pressure of being backed up in a time before in a division where you could maybe manipulate and have the physical presence over people at lightweight. So I'm leaning towards JDM, but this is a generational fight, and I'm really looking forward to it because fights like this don't come around often. Makhachev versus anyone would be good at welterweight, but the fact that the alternative to Makhachev losing is him being fucked up against a cage by TKO, by JDM, or being battered across 5 rounds and his face being a mess. These are the types of ones you got to watch out for. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now we can move on to Shevchenko versus Zhang. What you got?
No, you go. You go, baby. You go ahead.
I'll go for Shevchenko Zhang.
Yeah,
it's all right. What you got? I'm joking. No. It's a sick fight. Zhang Weili moving up. Another generational fight. I know a lot of people, and women's MMA, not as important, but this is one of those ones. This is like a Shevchenko Nunes. This is like a Nunes fighting. I don't know what other kind of fight it's like, but one of those like Rousey coming back. This is a big women's fight. Like most of them are just, who's the Shevchenko or Zhang or Nunes going to fight next in their division? That's typically what we find ourselves asking, right?
Yep.
But now it's like, damn, the two that have cleared out their division-ish, Shevchenko a little bit more difficulty with it than Zhang recently, are now taking on each other. So I'm looking forward to it. I do think Shevchenko skipped a beat recently in her career, whereas I think Zhang is in her prime and has been looking better and better between her fights. So I probably will lean towards Zhang Weili. So that's what I'm going for here. Yeah. I think Zhang Weili is going to give Shevchenko some problems. And I think this is going to be a close, quite dull, split decision to Zhang Weili because it's probably better for the company that she wins. That's what I'm going for here. What you got in the comment?
I think I love it because, like you said, it's generational talent. You know, Valentina Shevchenko, she's been around for a long time and she's been very successful. Has she lost a step? I'll agree with you on that because when she fought Grasso, I felt like she realized she couldn't, she can out-grapple her by just taking her down, staying in her guard, not going to side control, because each time she went to side control, she would lose that position. Where I feel like Weili, she's gotten better every single time she fights. The speed, the transitions, the technique, the wrestling that she got when she went train with Cejudo with the inside trip. I have Weili winning this fight. I never want to count out Shevchenko because she's a veteran. She knows how to compete, but she's going against a younger, athletic athlete where she does a pretty good job. And it's not like her stand-up changes. She'll stay on outside and that Muay Thai stance and like tap, 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 where I think Weili is going to be able to, get past that essentially. So I agree with you with the Weili. The main event, I'm going to go with Islam. I think Islam's going to be able to get it done. But
there you go.
The rest of the card is looking straight. You got Bo Nickel on the main card. You even have Carlos.
Yuck.
He said yuck.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. No, Bo Nickel's going to be on the main card. You want to know why? Because we're going to talk about him being on the main card. I know their game. I know the UFC's game these days. Let's put Bo Nickel on the main card so everyone complains about it. Accidentally promoting this fight in the meantime. But that's a tricky fight for Bo Nickel against Rodolfo Vieira. If you're talking about a grappler in Bo that wants to get a takedown, Rodolfo Vieira's BJJ ain't no fucking joke. So I'm looking forward to that. But we've also got two others that I think really stand out on the card.
Carlos Prates.
Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Fucking bangers. Yes. So, of course, we're looking forward to those as well. And little hint of sprinkle on top. Beneil Dariush Benoit Saint-Denis. The card's stacked, but Malcolm Wellmaker. That's all I'm going to say. Watch out for Malcolm Wellmaker. KO inbound, hook on the chin, right hook. Bang. That's what we're looking for from Malcolm Wellmaker. So I can't wait for that card. It's going to be banger. I sense a lot of KOs. Got a lot of movement in the welterweight division. That's JDM Makhachev, Brady Morales, and Edwards Prates. If the welterweight landscape ain't cleared up by that weekend, I don't know what will.
Yeah. Sick card. Well, my friend, it's always good to connect with you again, especially after, don't want to say it was amazing, UFC 321, but it's kind of unfortunate. We waited 15 months to see Tom Aspinall get back in there, but we had a great time breaking that down with the eye pokes, the bowling ball reference, the Chris Barnett with the titty swinging back and forth. The fans love it. I love it. And next time we see each other will be UFC 322. JDM take on Islam Makhachev. So, ladies and gentlemen.
And we'll see who's correct.
Yeah, we'll see who's correct.
On that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you for the next episode in only 3 weeks. Because remember, September was skipped, so we had to wait a long time. But in only 3 weeks, we're going to be recapping UFC 323. Don't miss it. It's the best place to be for MMA conversations after the event. You don't want to miss out on the Mighty Guru show.
1 second. I think it was UFC 322, right?
Yeah. 322.
322. Okay.
Leave this in.
Okay.
See ya, guys. I'll see you later, guys.
Wait.
Thanks for tuning in for the Mighty Guru show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll end it like that.